akatemewa na mate, yule alipigwa mijeledi, ndo Yesu wangu. Yule alivuliwa mavazi, akatemewa na mate, yule alipigwa mijeledi, ndo Yesu wangu. Basi shukurani zangu, umenitoa mbali sana. Mimi sifai lakini bado wanipenda Baba. Nasema asante, umenitosha Baba. Nikupe nini? Nikupe nini? Nikupe nini Baba? Asante. Nikupe Jehova. Nikupe nini?
Yule alivuliwa mavazi, akatemewa na mate, yule alipigwa mijeledi, ndo Yesu wangu.
Yule alivuliwa mavazi, akatemewa na mate, yule alipigwa mijeledi, ndo Yesu wangu.
Alipokwisha kunena, alimwambia Simoni, tweka mpaka kilindini, kashushe nyavu zenu. Yesu alipokwisha kunena, alimwambia Simoni, tweka mpaka kilindini, kashushe nyavu zenu. Bwana mkubwa, tumefanya kazi ya kuchosha usiku kucha. Bwana mkubwa, tumefanya kazi hata tusipate kitu. Bwana mkubwa, tumefanya kazi ya kuchosha usiku kucha. Bwana mkubwa, tumefanya kazi hata tusipate kitu. Lakini kwa neno lako nashusha nyavu, nashusha nyavu, nashusha nyavu, nashusha nyavu. Bwana, kwa neno lako nashusha nyavu, neno lako nashusha nyavu. Yesu, kwa neno lako nashusha nyavu, nashusha nyavu, nashusha nyavu. Neno lako Bwana, kwa neno lako Yesu, tuma neno. Najua nikiwa nawe Bwana nitasimama tena, hata nikilemewa wewe utanishika tena. Hata vita inijie Bwana utanipigania. Watesi wajipange, Bwana utapigana nao. Hey, nimetoa mwenzenu, nimetoa na mafuta nikapewa, nikapanda na mbegu nikapanda ila mvua ikunyesha. Bwana mkubwa, tumefanya kazi ya kuchosha usiku kucha. Bwana mkubwa, tumefanya kazi hata tusipate kitu. Bwana mkubwa, tumefanya kazi ya kuchosha usiku kucha. Bwana mkubwa, tumefanya kazi hata tusipate kitu. Lakini kwa neno lako nashusha nyavu, nashusha nyavu, nashusha nyavu, nashusha nyavu. Bwana, kwa neno lako nashusha nyavu, neno lako nashusha nyavu. Yesu, kwa neno lako nashusha nyavu, nashusha nyavu, nashusha nyavu. Neno lako
As we enjoy our breakfast, I request that we spread over the table so that we occupy the whole space. It seems most of our sisters are not here today. So let us observe the COVID protocol. Let's be fewer on the table. You can move. For those who are coming in, for those who are just coming in, let's occupy the other side. Let us occupy the other side for those who are coming in.
Now
For those who are coming in, kindly let us occupy the other side of the tent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Karibu sana Mama Rita. We are happy to host you today. Karibu sana. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to call this program to order officially. As our Mama Rita settles down, I want us to begin this program. I know we are having a bite, lakini tutaweka pause kidogo tu. Tutaweka pause. I want to welcome my sister Jen 𝗜𝗡𝗥𝗡𝗡𝗡 to open this session with a word of prayer. And it is my request that we all be standing as she leads us through this session. Karibu sana.
Praise be to God. It's a pleasure to see all of you looking bright and in African. I was telling myself today we should change the dressing code to African. We look so beautiful out there. So the first thing we have to do is to honor God, because He's the one who gives us life. And I have been given the role to be a bishop today. Pastor 𝗚𝗡𝗧𝗏, you will help me later. So I'll read one word. Proverbs 31:30 says, "Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain. But a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised." So we have to fear the Lord, and we have to fear Him in trembling. So let us pray. Thank you, Jesus, our Lord and our Savior, for giving us a beautiful day today. We want to thank you for life. You have given us the opportunity to serve you. We want to thank you, our dear God. We are here today because you have given us life as women, and we acknowledge that. We pray this morning, our dear God, before we come before thy throne of mercy, that you shall forgive us. Forgive us, God, for any sin that we may have done, knowing or unknowingly, that, Father, we may come before thy throne of mercy when we are clean. We want to thank you, Father, for this day that you have given us, that you may open our hearts, that you may hear from you, that you may learn the things that have been planned for us today, and we shall keep them in our hearts. We want to thank you for our families. You have given us an opportunity to serve in our families. And Lord, we acknowledge our position in everywhere that we go, that you have wonderfully and fearfully made us, and we acknowledge that. Father, as we go into the day and into the program, we pray that you may cover us with thy blood, that you shall protect us, that, Father, we shall continue being under your wings. We want to thank you and bless you in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen. 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 Let's clap for Jesus. I request that we can take our seats. Our invited guests, the board of directors present today, Mama, our managing director, all the general managers, and the beautiful queens. Good morning. Somebody say amen. We want to thank you for taking this opportunity. And to kick us off, I want to invite our sister Musangi to come and take us through the safety moment. Tumpigie makofi anapokuja. She's fearfully and wonderfully made.
Good morning, everybody. Safety engineer, stroke officer, and I will be giving the safety moment this morning. So, for the purposes of our guests, welcome to Kenya Pipeline. Here we take safety very seriously, and for the purpose of this event, I want to point out a few things that you need to pay attention to. In case of an emergency, you will hear a continuous ringing siren. We are not having any drills today. So if you do hear an alarm, please treat it as an emergency. We will evacuate through the way we came in, but the good thing is that this tent gives us options in terms of evacuation. So we can either go out this way or this way, depending on the side where the danger is coming from. So we are already at the fire assembly point, which in a way is a good thing because it will minimize our time of evacuation. For the staff, we will assemble outside of this tent, just behind the tent. And for our guests, we'll expect you to assemble near the gatehouse, the main gate that you came to, through to the HQ. In case of any injuries or first aid cases, we have trained first aiders within ourselves, and I would like to request, by show of hands, how many of us are trained first aiders? May not be a recent training, but at any point you've trained in first aid. It is good that we know who you are. Please stand up so that in case we need any assistance, we know how to reach you. By show of hands and kindly by standing up. So as you can see, we have a few within us who are trained in first aid. And for serious cases, we have a clinic at PS10 or at the terminal, which is fully equipped with an ambulance, so we shall be able to attend to you. Some of the hazards that we may expect in terms of first aid could include choking because we are eating. Yeah, we could have guys who may be, not used to being in enclosed spaces that may be claustrophobic. So we have people who are going to take care of you. So feel free and have a good time knowing that KPC has put your safety at the forefront, right? In case of any other issues, please report to us at safety, and any near misses that you may observe during this meeting, please report to nearmiss@kpc.co.ke, but you don't have to wait. You can come to me, you can come to anybody who is close to you, and we shall be able to take them with the seriousness that they deserve. While you're here, your safety is key, and we entrust that you are all responsible people. You are able to take care of yourselves because we as KPC can do the most, but ultimately your safety is your own responsibility. So we urge you to be safe, take care while you're walking around, watch out for any tripping hazards, and ensure that everything that has been provided to you. Those few remarks, I would like to hand over back to the MC. Thank you.
Makofi mazuri kwa Immaculate. Thank you so much, Immaculate. Safety starts with? Safety starts with? Thank you. I am happy that we know that. Just some few housekeeping rules. We know very well we are not out of the woods yet. The pandemic is still on. So I would request that after we are done with our breakfast, we can put our masks on. Let us also maintain the social distance so that after we celebrate, we don't go to hospital. This is our day for celebration. Is it? Sini ukweli? Today we have come here to celebrate, to dance, to eat, and to listen, and to learn, and to be empowered. I want you to turn to your neighbor, tell them, you are here because you need to break the bias. Please talk to somebody, talk to somebody. Talk to me, Esther. Talk to me. Thank you. Hashtag break the bias. That is the theme for us for this year. And for us to do that, I want us just to celebrate for 1 minute as we invite our one and only Nyambura Kimani to take us through another session. Kindly let us just stand up, we dance to this song. I know it's a favorite to someone here, and I want us to just celebrate. Kindly let us stand. DJ. I want to see how women celebrate. I want to see how women celebrate. How do you celebrate? I want to see how we can celebrate. Like how? DJ, these people are not dancing. These people are not dancing, DJ. I want to see a woman who is celebrating today. We are starting that song. I want to see a woman celebrating, eh? Thank you. This side, are we celebrating? We are not in church. Let's celebrate. The youth this side. Let me see somebody moving because we are celebrating. Yambra, I want to dance with you here because we are celebrating. Can you come?
There's a party going on right here, a celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. Woo! We gon' celebrate your party with you. Come on and celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. We gon' celebrate.
Thank you. We may have our seats. We may have our seats. I want you, as Nyambura is preparing, I want us to have this in mind when we are seated here. I want you to tell yourself, don't tell now your neighbor, usiambie jirani, nataka wewe mwenyewe ujiambie, that I am an original. Please, jiambie wewe mwenyewe. And I'm a masterpiece of my creator. Thank you.
Haya, makofi kwa Mercy. Let's sing for Mercy a happy birthday. Today, incidentally, is her birthday. Haya, ready, go. To you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mercy. Happy birthday to you. All right, everyone, good morning. Are you enjoying your breakfast? There's more noise on this side compared to this side. Good morning, my left side. Good morning to the special needs people seated at this table here. Henry, Gira, Zilpa, and the MD. Good morning. They're hiding. Anyway, it's been a year since we had this celebration. Who remembers last year's theme? Yo mume Google kwa hiyo meza. Let's ask Henry. Henry, so when do umejileta kwa hii mkutano? Who remembers from this side? Don't Google. Going once. This side. I'll get you a gift. Don't Google. Going twice. Hakuna. Mulikuja tu breakfast yangu last year. Huh? Where is Joyce? Aya, last year's theme? Okay, that's good. That's good enough. Aya, Florence, last year's theme? Flo? Correct. Last year's theme was choose to. Did you challenge last year? How many of you were promoted last year? Haka mkono juu. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only this side. Choose to challenge. Who was promoted last year? Do you know in doing that you broke a bias? Do you know that? That is the theme this year. We are breaking. We are breaking. He said that to Ongei. We are breaking. Who would want to tell us what that means? Just 1 minute. I'll choose someone. Please volunteer yourself. Nitakukujia. Stop looking down. Who knows the meaning of breaking bias? Anyone? Anyone? Sarah? Okay, stand here. You can grab the mic.
Morning, everyone. My understanding of breaking the bias is breaking things that hold us down, keep us back, those our thought processes that work to our disadvantage. So where are the men? Women serve men, men don't serve women. Managers are men, managers are not women. All of those biases that come from culture, from our society, from our communities. That's my understanding.
Let's clap for Sarah. That is it. Breaking bias is about breaking prejudice. So for me, this morning, let me talk to my chair here. Last year when we chose to challenge, we took feedback. We were told we want to be empowered with financially, other than the support we got from your office in increasing salaries. The only thing we did was also financial management, and we partnered with Centonomy. Is Centonomy here? Centonomy's team? You're here? Karibuni sana. We'll be introducing you shortly. So we partnered with Centonomy. Classes have been going on. They'll tell us more about it. And for a woman, I think it is very important for you to start breaking your bias by first empowering yourself. These days, the biggest barrier to success for a woman is if you do not know your money, it starts there. You remain a beggar for the rest of your life. So that's why we started with Centonomy in a program called Making Sense. They'll talk about it. And here we are this day. We see what we can do to break biases this year. So without further much ado, because I don't speak much in public, I would like to invite the Centonomy group for a brief presentation before handing over to Pastor Mphevi. Sawa? Please clap for them. I think...
All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning, beautiful women. Oh, my God. I wish you had the opportunity to stand here, because all I see is God's goodness. You guys look so lovely. And this is our day. We should be celebrating. Sawa sawa. Like all the things that we've managed to accomplish. All the things that we need to do. And I'm sure some of us, when you woke up in the morning, you didn't just wake up, go to the bathroom, and of course there are things you had to confirm that they were working fine, that probably if some of us have children, you had to confirm that your children are okay, that, you know, just running through the program of the day, and you're still here looking all so awesome. And by the way, this is what I keep on saying, that if there's somebody that looks like God, it's a woman for sure. It's a woman. Did you hear that? If there's somebody who looks like God, it's a woman, because you carry all the attributes of God. You can multitask. Eh? Ha. Watch out. My name is Maureen Radoli. I'm the head of personal finance at Centonomy Limited. And together with me are my lovely colleagues. And we are women, by the way. Ruby Njonjo, she's the head of entrepreneurship. And Esther Karaoke, she's the head of the youth programs at Centonomy. All we do is help purposeful individuals to ensure that they have the right mindset to create wealth. And that's exactly what you're doing. We are created to create wealth, and at the same time live an abundant lifestyle. All right? So I know I should be coming back later on to do a little bit of a presentation, and today it's going to be more practical, because we want to look at it from a practical point of view. Centonomy thrives in training people, giving them practical tools to ensure that all that they go through is practical and they're able to do it even after they leave the class. So Asante Sana Nyambura, or the MC, beautiful MC, Karibu Sana. You know, I can do this job very well. Mimi na kuongea, it's like my second name. Asante for the opportunity.
Let us clap for her once more. Isn't she beautiful? Very beautiful. Thank you. As they prepare, because we are, due to interest of time, we'll go in straight to our presentations. Today, our day is very short. So, tutajibamba na tutasoma. So, time ya kukuja kujibamba hata kama ni 1 minute, nataka ujiachilie. Tumesema tuna break nini? Na sasa hiyo bias ya kukaa chini ukikande kama Mluya kama mimi. Ni ya nini? So, if we have a song just to break and we say dance, make a move. Imagine Mama Rita ananipa kompe. Kiro safi. Amenipa DJ. Nisaidie hiyo wimbo moja tu. Ile nilikuwa nimekuambia. By the way, kama nyi hamdance, muangalie mama yetu. Hamutaamini. Hamutaamini. Na usiniuliza ati kwa nini hatuamini. Because where you have refused to break the bias. You have refused to enjoy yourself. So, as we welcome Centonomy to make the presentation, let's just dance. My DJ anafanya pole pole, but we were to dance a song. Alikuwa switch off. Na kama hautaipata, naona Centonomy wamesha kuja. Ama umeipata? Bado. Centonomy karibu. Wewe sasa, wewe bro. But it is okay. We'll have her next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to see one of my mentors, Pastor Simon Bevy. Good to see you. All right, so I'll quickly go to the presentation. And I know we have been here before, and one of the things that we talked about is how to manage money. And just quickly to go through, just to mention what we went through was understanding that happiness is not about tomorrow. It's not about getting things to satisfy your need at that particular moment. But happiness is about now. Happiness is about choosing things and doing things in a way that's very organized. So we are talking about planning. We are talking about thinking about tomorrow at the same time. So as much as we are talking about money, we just don't talk about the money, but there are things that lead us to the way there are things that control the way we manage money. There are things that will always affect the way we handle money. And that is, of course, the mindset. So I want to really insist on that happiness is not about tomorrow. And that's why in most cases, you'll find that we want to buy things to satisfy our needs, our immediate needs. And some of them are not even needs that we might want, that we really need. So we have needs and wants. Sorry, it's about wants. Most of us will actually spend money to buy things that are not necessary, things that you can do without. And there's a tomorrow. And one of the things that we've started talking about of late is retirement. I know some of us are getting there. Some of us have about 10 years to go. Some of us have about 25 years to go. Some of us are just starting. And we need to start thinking about tomorrow. So when you're thinking about planning your money, you need to think about your tomorrow. And just to quickly go through some of the things that we were taught when we were here, and our Sheke, our amazing founder of Centonomy and an author of an amazing book, was able to go through a presentation that was really amazing, which was forwarded to us, and I'll quickly go through it. So we looked at women and money. And we are talking about breaking the bias. There are things that we need to understand. That women live longer than men in most cases. True or false? True or false? Hata kama unaweka pesa chini ya mattress, women are planners. True or false? Men are risk takers and they live in the now. But women have a tendency of living paka kesho kutwa. True or false? You allow your mind to go through paka, isn't that a blessing? And if we know that that's what we are able to do, then what we are given by God now, we need to ensure that we manage it properly. And it is in the small things that matter. It is in the small things, not the big things. Because if I asked you today, can I have a look at your budget? Some of us who, of course, go to church, and I know Muslims also do the same, like you'll give your 10% to God. After that, now you start thinking about the big tickets. There's rent. If you're paying a mortgage, that's what you'll go ahead and do. But how many of us think about paying themselves first? Now, paying yourself first, we're not talking about you going for that manicure or pedicure. It is very important. Please pamper yourselves. And I remember there's a time Pastor Mphevi was talking to us, and he was talking to us about couples and money. And he said it is important for you to just keep aside some little bit of money to take care of yourself. But that has to be included in the budget. We're not saying don't take care of yourself, but that has to be in the budget. So you need to think about paying yourself first, number one. Number two, always remember that it is in the small amounts. It is in the small amounts that the mistakes are. You think that you'll go ahead and give somebody 500 shillings, which is okay to give. But at the end of the day, when you do what we call tracking your spending, you realize that you spend so much money, and then at the end of the day, you'll come back and tell us that you do not have money to save. So when you're paying yourself first, you need to think about saving with a goal. So your why has to be very, very clear. So I want to read out a slide that Washeke shared with you, and I think it is very important for us to go through it, because we are women, and we are celebrating women, and we are celebrating women not because of what the society views us, but somebody who knows who God is will definitely honor a woman. And this is what I want to say. Women will outlive men, number one. Women earn less. True or false? True or false? Amma here it's very different. If it's different, that's a good thing. But I want us to use this information to empower another woman as well. Then women spend more. We have a tendency of spending more. Yes? I know konaka 1,000 shillings mahali unasema, it is not safe to walk with a wallet kama haina pesa. Unaweza kanyaga nyanya mtu, but si kukanyaga nyanya mtu. You'll see a dress and you'll decide to do what? To go and get that dress. And nowadays we shop online, eh? And those costs, we never even consider those costs of shopping online. Like initially when you were planning for that money, you said you might actually step on somebody's tomatoes, right? And then there's so many cultural and societal norms that are actually hindering women from accessing their potential. But I thank God that things are changing, and changing pretty fast. Women are more likely to take a career break. How many of us have taken career breaks? By show of hands. How many of us have taken career breaks? Mothers in the house. Me, I have 3 children. So when I look at the 3 children, I actually look at about 12 years. My last one is 4 years. So this is the time I'm thinking about empowering myself as a woman. So we have a tendency of taking breaks. So that I don't take so much of your time, I just wanted us to go through that. I want us to do a very short exercise. And I can see we are seated in groups. So in your tables, kindly, I want you to discuss 5 more minutes, just 5 minutes. What views and behaviors do you have around money? So we'll just pick somebody to come and give a presentation from wherever you'll be seated. No, you don't have to come here, but we'll pass the mic. And then what are those views and behaviors that no longer serve you? That's the second question. Number 3, what is holding you back? We're talking about money. What is holding you back from achieving your financial goals? Then number 4, what is it that you can do as Jane, Christine, Namwaka, Radoli, Wamboi, Akinyi? If you're here, you're here and you know that something has been holding you back. Kindly discuss in your group what is holding you back from doing some of the things that you're supposed to be doing, especially when it comes to the views and behaviors you have around money. And then finally, what are the possible solutions that we can implement now that I know we have taken up the class? So probably 5 minutes. I'd want to hear a bit of noise. So tufunge mdomo kidogo, let's not feed ourselves. Let's now discuss. Let's talk amongst each other. I'm a teacher. I teach Sunday school, I teach youth, I teach women, so I'm a teacher. I want to hear people discussing. So what is that that's holding you back? And what are the possible solutions that you have? The reason why we are doing this exercise is to help us understand the attitudes, the perceptions, views, or behaviors that can actually stop us from achieving our financial goals. So what do you think is holding us back? Thank you so much for the groups that are very active. I would talk to them nicely. That might be your next mother-in-law. You never know. And they have to see the visionary, aspect in you as a mother of either their husband or possible wife. Eh? Let's help somebody who's seated with us just to understand, because we are shedding some light. We are shedding light even as we discuss. At least I've gotten some feedback so far. What stops you from buying that home that you've always dreamt of? What is stopping you from going to that school that you've always thought of going? What is stopping you? What is stopping you from having a savings account that reads so many zeros? What is stopping you from investing in a capital growth investment? What is stopping you from investing in an income-generating project or a capital preservation as well? Are we done? All right, Asante, you are amazing students. Kindly clap for yourselves. Asante, thank you. Now, I want to pick a few people. Probably we can have a few people volunteer. Asante sana. So we are getting a mic. Probably you can just raise your hand because we want to take the shortest time possible.
Raise your hand. I'll come where you are. Jen, I saw you raise your hand. No, you raised your hand.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yesterday I attended the class, so I could be having answers which we discussed yesterday. And my team here, we were discussing on the behaviors around money. And we have the abundant spirit. Yani hakuna kitu tunaweza kosa. So even if when there's no money, we're just spending. So you can suffer because of that, because si unaona tuko smart. Sasa hatukosangi pesa even in our heads. Then another one is we are also savers. Tuna save, tunaweka, alafu one day kuna problem inatokezea, hiyo pesa yote tunasaidia mtu hospital bill, or when need arises, you balance, you pay to help. You know, we are Africans, tunasaidiana.
Yes.
So in the process, pesa yangu ya kununua shamba kare nimeenda. Other people are also 50-50, weka kidogo, kula kidogo. Yeah, and then those small things which you mentioned, pesa pia inapotea. What is holding us back? Fear of the unknown. Mara unapeana pesa kwa schemes inapotea. Umeona your friend amepoteza pesa. Some such things tunapenda sako yetu sana. So we don't even go to the stocks market, bonds, and all those things. What can you do? Of course, one of them, tulingia autonomy. Yesterday, I calculated my daughter's fees, which I'll be paying 6 years, and I know I need to save like 1,500 per day to be able to pay.
Beautiful,
So
beautiful.
those are the plans. Other solutions is that we are in groups where we challenge each other. A lot of education and a lot of pressure, you know, to succeed and plan for retirement. So in summary, hiyo ndio tulifanya hapa homework.
I love that. I love that. Can I give her a clap? That's amazing. That's really amazing. Most of us will actually want to live in the now. And that's not even an abundant mindset. It's a scarcity mindset. Because a scarcity mindset will tell you there might be no tomorrow. It's never enough. Hata kwa barabara, I don't even have to go far away. Nikikuja tu. Well, I was coming. Yani people are just fighting for the same road. For the same, that's a scarcity mentality. Because we always feel like it's never enough. So I have to have it all right now. I love what you said, number 2. Number 2 was, you're saving. But when something comes up, an emergency comes up, what do? You actually go to your savings and use that money. What can stop us from doing that? You must have a goal. The first thing my CEO will always stand, anytime he wants to say something about money, he'll always ask you, what is your why? Don't save without a goal. Tunaweka pesa, tunaweka tu kando. For what purpose? And I hope you are not those ladies tunasema tunaweka pesa because huyu mwanaume anaweza, those of us who are married, huyu mwanaume anaweza amka, wacha niweke kando because I don't know about tomorrow. Yes? So you must have a goal, and the goal has to be clear. If it is school fees, that money has to be put in a school fees account. One that you can actually access easily. She's talking about taking her daughter to school. I love that. I hope you've started thinking about what to do to raise the 1,500 shillings every day to be able to take your daughter to the school that you want her to go in the next 6 years. I love the fact that you mentioned fear. And one of the things that we're going to do immediately after I step down, my colleague is going to be coming here to take us through a fear exercise, how to overcome fear, because that is what holds most of us. And I think the MC came and told me there's somebody who was putting on green. Sitaki kumention ni wapi, but kuna green mingi sana huku. So one of the things that's holding them back from achieving their financial goals is fear. Probably I can have one more person say something, and then I can have my colleague come and just talk about, because you'll realize that most of the things that you're going to be talking about are similar and they affect everybody else.
I have crossed this side.
Asante sana.
I want to see a hand this side.
And even as she looks for the hand, looking for and getting the right information will always help you overcome fear and will always make you make the right decision. She talks about schemes. Tunasikia hapa, like those days when I was still a young girl, that's what we used to call Desi. Desi. And there are people who put in a lot of money in Desi, but what happened? We did not have the knowledge about it. But people put money there and they lost their money. So getting the right information will actually save you from losing your money. One more volunteer.
I'm on this side. I'm not seeing my hand up.
Who does not want to experience financial freedom? On this side. Hamjiski? Can I pick somebody?
Yes, you can. I'll be very fast to move there.
Picky, picky, ponky, father had a donkey, donkey die, father cry, picky, picky, ponky. There's that table where my finger is facing. There's
This
a lady.
one. This
yes,
one.
exactly.
Okay.
I'd want to hear something from the lady in maroon.
Chuma ya reri. Haitavunjika. Eh.
Wow. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Our group, we discussed issues concerning what is preventing us from achieving our goals. And most of us here, we come from families where people are dependent on us. Maybe we are the only ones who are privileged to be where we are. So you'll realize that you have siblings who have issues, and you have to stand in for them. But I believe that that is not a hindrance, because everything happens with a reason. That's why we are here to stand in a gap, for others. But that notwithstanding, we still have our goals, and we have discussed, and we know the way forward. After listening to what you've been talking, we know what to do, even if it is saving maybe not 1,500 per day. Maybe we can start by saving, even if it is 500, according to where we are able to sustain ourselves. Yes, thank you.
Imagine.
Thank you. Tumpigie makofi.
That was so beautiful. We are Africans. And what we do as Africans is support one another. This happens day in, day out. Thank you so much for bringing up that point. That was beautiful. You brought it out so beautifully. So beautifully. What happens? What happens when you have so many people depending on you? Number one, pay yourself first. You know, this money is going towards a certain project. This is my why. I'm either building for retirement, I'm either putting aside some money, you know, to build a home, or to build some income generating project. The first thing that you need to do first is pay yourself. Of course, you've given God what he deserves. For the Muslim brothers and sisters, you do what we call charity. Like, you always give. So you need to put that in the budget. And let me tell you this is what I have learned. That once your account yako, your charity, depletes, it is okay to say no. It's okay to tell them, you know what? Right now, imagine I don't have. And because we have what we have so many accounts that you can start putting your money in. We have an emergency fund account where you need to start thinking about the future. Corona taught us very well. Most of us, not in KPLC, of course, not here, sorry, not in KPC. I know there are organizations that either slash their employees' salaries, or there are people who are allowed to go home. Where do you start from? And you're a sole dependent. Where do you start from if you do not have an emergency fund account? And that is not built within 6 months or 3 years. It takes about 5 years, because that same amount should be able to maintain the lifestyle that you're living now for a period of about 6 months. And if you're earning, for example, 100,000 Kenyan shillings, you should be able to save up at least 600,000 Kenyan shillings in that account to sustain you for a period of about 6 months as you plan for a plan. Because God, again, is amazing. You'll always find something to do. But before that time comes, you need to have an emergency fund account. So if something is an emergency, you can borrow that money from there, but make sure you take it back. So for charity, for family members, always have a budget. Always have a what? Always have a what? And it is okay to say no. What happens when you tell somebody no? Do they change your name? Do they take one letter from your name? Does your dignity go down? Because you wouldn't have lied. But if you have a way of helping, help, but make sure you replenish or replace that account. Is that okay? Is that okay? All right. So there's something that we call fear. And I know fear is what keeps us from doing a lot of the things that we are supposed to be doing. And Ruby, if you don't mind, you can be coming on stage so that we just do that exercise for a very short period, because fear is what keeps us from achieving what we need to achieve. And the other thing is, if you have children, please stop telling them that money grows on trees, because they'll always remember that statement and they'll be afraid of spending. Please stop telling them that money is never enough, because that's the mindset they'll grow up with. And that is why we have a scarcity mentality. Because if money is never enough, when they get their money, what will they do? They'll want to spend it all, because they know money is never what? Enough. God bless you.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and the few gentlemen in the room. Good morning. So I'll be talking about fear, and you can hear in my voice that there's a bit of fear. But don't worry, by the time we are done with this exercise, I'll show you why even when you're feeling afraid, you still need to go ahead and do it. Now, because of the interest of time, I'll just say a quick hello and an introduction. My name is Ruby 𝗀𝗡𝗀𝗀. I head the entrepreneurship program at 𝗀𝗀, and I love speaking to people. I talk a lot about fear. I speak to young people, to women, to gentlemen across board. So this morning, because of the interest of time, we'll do a really short exercise. But what I'd like to request you, when you have some time, go back and do the exercise exhaustively. Is that okay? But because of time, so let me just get straight into it. So today we are talking about fear. This morning, sorry about that. And I want you to think about this conversation. So there are a couple of questions, but you'll just think about one, and then as you go back home, please go and break this down further. So the first question, and I'll just ask, write down everything that you're scared of. Now, because of the interest of time, I'll ask you to just think about one thing or two. If you have a pen and paper, please write it down. Think about one thing that you're afraid of. Just one, but when you go home, make sure you do the rest. So think about it. I want to see you thinking. If you have a paper, just jot it down so that we're able to facilitate you going through this exercise. One thing that you're really afraid of. Are you thinking, ladies? If you're thinking, just wave at me so that I know we are together. Are you thinking of one thing? Has it already come to mind? Can you already tell that thing that you're really scared about? Is it there? No? You are not afraid of anything? Wow. This side guys are not afraid. I like that. Very good. Good job, ladies. If you're not afraid, that's where we want you to be. Okay, number two. Let's think through what would happen, what would change in your life if that thing actually came to pass, that thing that you're very afraid of. So let me use an example so that we can just make sure we are aligned. So I'm afraid of my children lacking school fees, them not going to school, them not getting an education. I'm really afraid of that. So when I speak into number two, what would be the effect if that actually happened? I would be sad, I'd be depressed, I'd feel like I failed my children, I failed myself. I was given the opportunity, but I never did anything with it. I'd be very, very sad and depressed. Have you thought about what would be the effect of that one thing? This side was the side with fear. You guys, have you thought about the effect? What would happen if that thing came to life? Has it come to you? Have you thought about it? Have you thought about it on this side? I know there's fear. Even if you don't lift up your hand, I know you're afraid of something. I can bet. If I came close to you and gave you the mic, I know you'd be like, Aki, not me, choose somebody else. If I asked a question on this side, the people who are looking down, and I'm like, yes, the lady looking at her phone, I want you to answer. I know you'd look at me and be like, Aki, not me. Please just choose somebody else. All right, so let's go to the third one. What would you still have? So first, you're afraid of one thing. It has actually happened. What would you still have? What would you still have? And I'll share this exercise with the team member so that they can share it with you. What would you still have? I would still have my brain. I would still have my hands, my feet. I would still have my children. Yes, they're not going to school, but I would still have them. What would you still have? I would still have my job. I want to believe so. And even if I wouldn't, I would have the capacity to apply for another one. What would you still have? Okay, the fourth one. What would you do with what you have? So I have my brain. What would I use it for? So that thing that you still have, what would you do with it? And the reason why I'm going through this exercise, just to give you some clarity, is so that you're able to break down fear. Because fear inhibits us from doing very many things. Sometimes it even inhibits us from doing the actual job that we are supposed to do. So what would you still have, despite the fact that everything has happened the way it has happened? And then now, let's shift the gear a bit. I want you to write everything you would do if you're not afraid. What would you do if you weren't afraid? So this side, I think this is the opportunity for you. You guys weren't afraid. What would you do? What are all the things you would do because you're not afraid? Nothing scares you. You're not afraid of anything. I like the smiles. Thank you, because we're acknowledging that, yeah, you're ready to write all the amazing things you would do because you're not afraid. Just write them down. Write them down somewhere, and I know you'll go through this afterwards. And then finally, what would be the effects in your life if all those things that you're not afraid of actually came to pass? All those amazing things you've thought, I would do this, I would buy that house, I would take my kids here, I would travel the world, I would, move up, I would give more in terms of my work, I would start a business, all those things that you've said you would do because you're not afraid. Where do you think you would be? What are the things that would happen? What would be the effects? So for me, if you forget everything I said today, if you don't remember the exercise, if you weren't paying attention, the only thing I want you to remember today is that in everything in life, yes, you will feel the fear, other than these guys who don't have fear. So let me speak to this side. Amma, you guys have acknowledged you have fear. Anyway, I'm kidding. That's on a light note. You will feel the fear, but you will do it anyway. So you will feel the fear, but you will do it anyway. So what I want you to think through is all those things that you have said that you would do if you were not afraid. Let that voice in you as a woman today overpower all those things that you have not done because you're afraid. Today, choose to break that bias of fear. Choose to break that bias of fear. Stand today and say, from today, all the things that I am afraid of, I will still attempt to do them. I will not allow for fear to wake me up. I wake up in the morning and then I'm afraid even to dress properly because I'm afraid what will people say, because I'm afraid I won't be good enough. All those things that we experience as women, feeling you're not good enough, you're not appreciated, feeling like you don't do much. You do a lot. And remember the way Maureen said, even before you came here today, there was another job you did at home to make sure everything is running smoothly. So today I want to challenge you as you break the bias, feel the fear. Wow, you guys, you've already forgotten. Let's do this again. I'm really hoping, guys, when I stand here, you're so beautiful, you look so amazing, and I told you guys I'm afraid. Now you don't want to respond to me so that I know you're listening. Feel the fear. Okay, this side. Feel the fear. Awesome. On this side, feel the fear. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a lovely rest of the International Women's Day. God bless you all.
Makofi kwa Ruby. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now we get to another presentation, which is going to be given to us by Transform Group. Bwana Mbevi, we are ready for you as he comes. We have been told hata ukifia, you do what? Hata kama nimeogopa nitafanya, si ndio? Karibu sana Bwana Mbevi.
Good morning. Let me hear from you ladies. Good morning. Look at your neighbor and say you look really nice. Are you lying to them? Yeah, just look at, yeah. If you don't like the hair, you like the dress. If you know the dress, the shoes. There must be something you like. I'm glad to be here. Simon Bevi is my name. As to come with my wife, she sent me with greetings. She's called Sophia. So do you receive her greetings? Happy International Women's Day. All right, look at your neighbor and tell them in your mother tongue, Happy International Women's Day. In your mother tongue. Not Swahili, in your mother tongue. Happy International Women's Day. All right, all right, all right. Let me ask you a question. I want to go pretty fast. I'm with Transform Nations. We're so privileged to work with the men. Here we're doing the Man Enough program. And part of what we are training them is to break the barriers. That there will be men who are growing to be better men in character and better at being men in terms of doing their duty in the various places and what they do. So it's been a privilege to work together with KPC. We also do some work for boys. We do a training for mothers of sons. to help them deal with these little young ones. I want today to celebrate my mother, who is 86 years old. She's been an amazing mother, amazing. I'm writing a book just dedicated to her, what my mother taught me. And she runs some widows ministry work, and I'd love all the proceeds to go to helping the widows in Makueni. But she's an amazing woman. I want to celebrate my wife of 24 years. Yes, I started out a little early, 24 years, and we have had a great journey together. I want to celebrate my 2 daughters. They are just awesome. 2 teenagers. I have loved them with every bit of myself. It's been a blessing. What would the world be without ladies? Men who are here, what would the world look like without you ladies? I mean, you're amazing. With my wife, we have written a book that has become a training manual. We call it 𝗓𝗧. And I and her, we did research among different communities around the world, in the East, in the West, in Africa, and then we wrote that book. Some of you might have done the program 𝗓𝗧 or Woman Enough, as some people call it. But I love it, just as we talk about the resources that you have as a lady. That will be a conversation for another day. Right now, let's talk about the gender factor in relationships. The gender factor in relationships. You can write a few things here. I do a conversation on Facebook Live called Sober Sunday, every Sunday evening. The day I advertised that we are talking about understanding men, we almost crashed. I think we had like 3,000 people who were logging in just to understand men. You know, I think as we break the barriers, the man in the society needs to play even a bigger role. And I wish the men were sitting here, because a lot of these biases against gender biases are with the men, with us. But we will talk with them elsewhere. So let me just go into it and say a few things about understanding the men, so that you understand the biases they may have, and you may understand the differences and be able to work with them. All right. So together, let's break the bias. Let's all do like this together. How are you doing it? Like this. Let's say together, let's break the bias. Excellent. Thank you, Centonomy, for the great presentation. Good to see you here. So a few things I want to say very quickly. What breeds bias? What gets us to a place where we are biased against each other? What breeds bias? Now, I looked up in the dictionary. Gender bias is an inclination towards or prejudice against one gender. That means ladies could have a gender against their fellow ladies. And I know it doesn't happen at KPC, but I've met some ladies who say, I don't want to work with ladies. You know, they're just difficult to work with. They're too emotional. And she's a lady, but she has that bias against her fellow ladies. Of course, I've met men with bias against the ladies. So it could go either way, where you prefer one gender to the other, so you have an inclination that becomes a bias against the other, or you have prejudice against the other. So here are a few things that bring us to that place of bias. Are you still with me? All right. Number one, the differences that we have between men and women. Do you think we are different in the way we think and do things? Men and women. Yeah, we are different. Of course, out of nature, of late I've been studying a lot of brain science, and I'm using it to teach teachers in schools on how to understand gender in training. This has become a big thing in the US right now. Most of the top companies are teaching people about understanding gender at work, so that they understand how to relate with each other at the workplace and not have unnecessary differences. So number one is just the natural and cultural differences that we have. What we have from nature and what we have from nurture We need to understand that so that we break what we need to break. Number two. So number one is the differences that we have. Number two is lack of understanding. What you don't understand, you either attack or you get prejudiced against. I remember talking to a man who was saying to me, you know, ladies cry a lot in the office. When they cry, I just understand, why are they being weak? And I had to explain to him, it's not weakness, it's the way they're wired. And actually, emotional expression is positive. It's a good thing. I teach men how to feel and how to express their feelings so that they don't die younger because of, stuffing it inside. So I had to explain to him and then explain to him what he needs to do. And he said, oh, okay, now I understand. What you don't understand, you either attack. When you don't understand why a man does a certain thing, then you're going to attack them and say, why are men like that? What's wrong with them? And then the bias continues to be enhanced. I really like being conversational, so I hope we are together. Number three. Number one was? Oh, all right. Differences. Number two is lack of understanding. I hope it's on the screen. Number three is socialization. The way we were socialized. The way my mother told me, you know, girls are like this. Or the way we as mothers tell our boys, you know, don't do like that, you're becoming like a girl. And maybe it's just that she cried because she saw a cockroach. And you know, between 5 and 8, boys are very tender. They cry a lot. They begin to fear insects. Before then, they crush them. But during that stage, a stage in life, then they begin to get afraid. And you say, why are you like a girl? And slowly, you're infusing in them a certain way of thinking about gender. And you need to be just aware of what you're doing there. So socialization. Lastly, past experience. Maybe your ex was, a long time ago was like this as a man. He just didn't care. He wasn't sensitive. He never told you sorry. He didn't know how to apologize. So you assume all men are like that. And so when you meet another one, you're treating them with the expectation they're going to be like your ex. That's just an example. Past experience, or maybe what you went through with your dad, or what you went through with your mom. My father died when I was 8 years old, and he died suddenly in an accident. We were about to eat lunch, and then he gets knocked by a bus, and he dies outside our home. And I felt like he just left me suddenly. So after that, I began to think all the men who come into my life subconsciously are going to leave me suddenly. So I never really committed to them because I thought they're going to quit anyway at some point. So I had a bias towards older men because of what I went through. Experience could give you a bias against a certain gender, and you begin to feel or think men are like that or women are like that. All right, let me talk about some similarities and differences between us as the two gender. Whereas there are many things we are similar. I mean, we are all human beings. There are some things in which we are different. And I see this all the time in relationships. And that's what I want to bring out. Of course, these gender differences are generalities, but they have exceptions. Due to hormones, for example, there's some ladies who have a little higher testosterone than others. So they're going to have certain ways that they behave that may not be like the others. It could be hormones. Number two, it could be personality. Just the personality that you have. And you know the different personalities. Another one could be upbringing, the way you were brought up. I have a friend of mine that was brought up among boys. And so he just began to behave, because that was what was expected by his military father, to behave in certain ways. And because he was brought up among these boys, then she was brought up among these boys. She has some, tendencies that other ladies say, hey, that's too much. But it's the way she was brought up. And anyway, who decides too much? But some things happen in us because of how we were brought up, and then other environmental factors. Understanding gender differences will make us relax and realize, oh, okay, so it's not bad anyway. It's the way they think. So let me go to the differences right now, pretty quick. Then I'll end by talking about some tips on how to lead men at work. All right, men versus women. How are we different? Look at me. I have come to realize that ladies are very face-to-face. Look at me, face-to-face. When we are relating. I have known this from my daughters and my wife, that when I'm talking to them, if my daughter sometimes turns my head like this and say, look at me, daddy, you're looking at the TV, you're not listening. Very face-to-face. Look at me, let me read your face, let me know what's going on. You guys read faces a lot more better. True or false? Many times men don't have much of a clue. We have to be very careful to understand what's expressed in the head. And then I've come to realize men prefer, especially when you're talking difficult things, to be shoulder to shoulder, not face to face. Go and try it with your son. If you tell them, look at me, and they've done something wrong, they'll definitely look down. If I stand with a man right here and look him in the face, within 2 seconds they'll look down or look away. Otherwise, it will be, you're challenging me to a fight. Interesting way that men see. So it's interesting, when we are having a great time and we want to go and celebrate with my wife, we go to a restaurant and do face-to-face. And we talk. But when things are a little bit difficult and she needs to tell me some hard things, I would rather we take a walk or a drive. As I'm looking onto the road, she can tell me those hard things. And I'm okay at that point. I feel like we talk a lot more. So we do 2 dates every week. One for sitting across and one for taking a 3-hour walk, depending on what the domains are. So that we get to talk. And she gets to tell me those things, and then we talk later. But generally, men are shoulder to shoulder, women are face to face. Another one, I think this has been said a lot, single task focus. When a man is watching a game, you could be talking to him and you're like background noise. And seriously, he can't hear you. Because his head is so much in this that everything is taken by it. Try that with your son. You will realize it's true. And yet, when I talk to my daughter, sometimes she's doing several things. She's touching her hair. She's doing something with her leg. And she's still listening to me. And she actually knows what I said when I ask her. But my boy wouldn't hear if she's doing something, if he's doing something else. I think someone has said, men have, their brains are like boxes. Once they're in one box, they stay there for a while before they move to another box. But the lady's brain is all interconnected. And you know about the left and right hemisphere. All right, let me go on. Emotional processing. Men process a little bit slower. So you may tell them something and they're still thinking about it. You know, this brought trouble in our early days of marriage because my wife would ask me some things, especially emotionally laden things, and I would say, I will talk later. And then 2 days later, she says, you're still talking. I said, I'm still processing. So we had to come to an agreement that, yes, I need time to go into the cave and process something, but I can't do that for a month. So we said, if I need time, I'll tell you, let's talk tomorrow at this time. I'll have processed it, and I'll be able to say something. But ladies process as they talk. When you're talking, you're processing. So my wife is processing through some things that happened in the day, and in my head I'm trying to find solutions. But she's not looking for a solution. She just wants to process. Is that true or not? True. All right, you're a little quiet today. And men get to be a lot more stressed because of that not processing. They tend to be a lot more stressed. So I help men a lot to be able to go back and process and say what they are feeling so they may deal with it. So at work, it's easy to realize this man, you told him something and he doesn't seem to be, processing it yet. And sometimes you may need to give him just some moments to do that. Another difference here is interesting, and again, these are not biases, they are tendencies that we need to challenge sometimes and also understand. Men generally tend to be more competitive. Women tend to be more collaborative. And I've realized this because I've given, some exercises to men and women. I've told them, do this exercise together, and men do this exercise together. The men seem to be really competing, everyone with another. But always I find a few ladies will start helping each other to try and finish it. And these exercises have been done in many places. And so when you understand that, another day we were driving on Mombasa Road, it was leisurely, and I was with my wife and children. And then we were driving slowly, and another car overtook us. And my son looked at me like, Dad? A few minutes later, that car was behind us. And then he looked at me and gave me a high five. And then the ladies in the car were looking at us, what's wrong with you? Where did you come from? How is that exciting to you? But to us, we overtook the car. And we just felt good about it. Of course, we teach the men how to now move more towards collaboration because then they get to overdo that. Men tend to think a lot of bottom line, solution thinking. What is it that you're saying? A study was done in Harvard, and they said they looked at a lot of memos that are given at work. And a lot of men in the memos were looking if it's printed. They had a pen waiting to underline the point. What are you saying here? I want to know what I want to go and do. So they were teaching at Harvard, the ladies who are managers, how to make sure as they give a memo, they summarize. These are the 2-3 main points. So the men would get them even faster. Many men are thinking, so you see, sometimes to my wife, the point is not the point, it's understanding what she's going through. But for me, I'm thinking, let me know the point. What is the point? And once you understand that, then you are able to help the man, saying, I've told you many things, but this is what I was saying, or I was not saying. And they're able to understand better. Just a few more things, and I'll be done. Some other differences. Men forget faster the more emotional events, the more emotional an event is. They want to forget it very quickly. But women tend to keep that for a very long time. There's some things we did when we were young in marriage, and my wife still remembers to the detail. In fact, she remembers what I was wearing the first date we met. I don't. The first date we had. She remembers every detail. And some of the words I said, I really don't remember a lot of that. And she helps me remembering some of those things. Something else. Men tend to be less conversational generally and less able to read clues. Women tend to have a little bit more words. Women tend to be more intuitive than men. It's interesting, in our board, we have several ladies. We are half-half, actually. The board that runs Transform Nations. And sometimes when we can't make a decision, I should ask the ladies, what do you feel intuitively? And then we listen to them. And I say, we'll go with that. Because I want to use their resource. They're a lot more intuitive around the table than a lot of us men. So I always love to have a lady around who is going to say, I don't know what, but I feel this will fail. I say, okay, I'll take that. We don't have the facts for it, but we know that you're feeling it. You're intuitive, and intuitive, and that's okay. Something else. For men, work seems to be central. When work is not going well for a man, life is over. Everything else is just crazy. And when work is going great, a man is really excited. But for ladies, for you, I've come to learn from my wife, when our relationship is not doing well, even work gets a beating. She's very relational. I do a lot of counseling. Relational counseling with my wife, therapy. And it's interesting, a lot of times when we have a couple and things are not good, and then we ask the man, how are things going? They tend to say, well, a few problems here and there, we are sorting them. Then I ask the lady, what's going on? Oh, we are about to divorce. Things are really bad. To her, she's feeling these relationship issues a lot, but the man is saying nothing big, we can deal with it. So ladies tend to be a lot more relationship oriented. And that's good. That's why a lot of marriages survive because of the ladies holding on. I like what was said about money by St. It's interesting. I was teaching once at St. and I told the men seem to see money as power. When you have money, you feel very powerful. Women tend to see money as security. When you don't have money, you feel insecure. That's why you need a secret account to feel a little secure in case things don't go well. And it's just different perspectives. And once you understand each other, you help one another to understand each other. So my wife, like right now, I'm in politics. So those from Makueni, you remember me. And my daughters and my wife ask more the questions. What if this doesn't happen? What if you don't get elected? What if, and they're a lot more concerned. My son is saying, let's go get them. Let's go do this. And he's very excited about the risk. And we just need to balance. So my daughters and wife helps us think a lot more. What if this doesn't happen? What if this and the other happens? And they become a blessing to the family. Men tend to be more visual, and they see sex as a response. Ladies tend to be more hearty, and they see sex as a communication. I think you know that in relationships. And again, this helps you relate better with men at home. Two more things and I'm done. It's interesting that after a relationship, women tend to stick, to brood over it for a little longer. Have you ever seen a man who has maybe, broken up, and within 2 weeks is dating? Or 1 week or 1 day. Somebody is saying 1 day. Yeah, some are even dating while you're breaking up. They're seeing someone else. But many times for a lady, I gave it my all. I was in it. I was fully here. So when you leave, it's like you've gone with a part of my heart. I need time to recover. So you understand, we are wondering, what's wrong with this man? Well, many times they don't process. That's why they could move a lot faster. And that affects them negatively in their next relationship. The last point, when it comes to stress, men, and we are talking with the men here about stress, and we have realized a lot of them are quite stressed. Because when it comes to stress, men seem to withdraw or divert the stress to an activity, to go and hit a ball or kick a ball or watch sports, but they're not really dealing with what is stressing them. They seem to divert. They seem not to deal with it, go into a cave. And they need someone to help them process. Many times ladies reach out to friendship, reach out to someone else and want to talk through it. And that's why, of course, then the ladies tend to live longer, especially out of stress. And we have 3 times more men who are stressed and with mental health issues than women. Here are a few tips, 4 tips as I go. Leading men. How do you lead men? Number 1, believe in yourself. As you lead men wherever you are, just believe in yourself. You don't need to make apologies that you're a lady, that you feel sometimes a little bit more than others. You just need to believe in yourself, be proud of yourself, and don't make an apology. If you look like you're feeling bad about yourself and how you behave as a woman, then they are going to join you in making you feel bad. But if you're confident and you believe in who you are and you're excited about yourself and being a lady, then they're going to give you respect. Number 2, express care and concern. A study was done by a lady who has written a book about understanding men at work. And she did an extensive research in several continents. She's called 𝗞𝗣𝗖'𝘀 𝗪𝗡𝗥. And you could check out our book, excellent book, about women understanding men at work so that they don't shortchange themselves in terms of leadership. And this is what she said. As women, you need to feel okay to be caring and nurturing towards others. That doesn't reduce you as a manager. In fact, it gives you power. I'll give you one illustration. Madam Clinton, just elections in Kenya, they have gone bad. We're in post-election violence. Kibaki then, and Raila, everybody doesn't want to talk, and there's a very tense meeting at KICC meeting, remember that time? And Madam Clinton jets in town. She's a Secretary of State. She goes to KICC. I watched that speech because I wanted to see how is she going to say to deal with this. Now, every media is saying Americans should leave us alone. We are dealing with our own domestic issues. She goes to the mic. She knows everyone is hostile, and she begins the speech with power. Do you know what she says? She says, last night, there was a lady from Kibera who was making my hair. And as she was making my hair, for several hours, I asked her, what is your greatest fear about the political situation in the country? And she looked at me with tears in her eyes, and she said, I fear that my children may not grow up in a safe place. And she turned to the politician, she said, every mother in this country is concerned about the security. You know what? Immediately she shifted the balance of power. And now she spoke not only as Madam Secretary, but as a representative of the mothers in Kenya. And she had the power in the room. And she got a standing ovation. Don't be afraid to use your womanly qualities to lead. They bring something to the table that the man so dearly need. Feel free to use it. All right, so number 3, demand respect and you will get it. Don't allow someone to play with you. Demand respect. You're a respectable person. And we're not going to change all the bias that men have out there overnight. But you have a right to demand respect and respond to bias. And stand for who you are. You're a queen. You're a daughter of the Most High God. Don't allow anyone to treat you badly. Don't allow. And when men realize you take no nonsense, they'll respect you. When they, wherever they come from, they'll respect you and say, that one, don't touch, because you respect yourself. So don't allow us to belittle you or have prejudice against you. Speak for yourself as well as we speak to the rest of the men. Lastly there, communicate clearly. Communicate clearly. Let me just say, read this quote by Shanti from that book. She said, we can be skilled, speaking of to the ladies, we can be skilled, talented, highly educated, mentored, and networked, and yet trade all that away by unintentionally undermining ourselves in our interactions with our male colleagues. What was I saying with all these things I've said? Number 1, be self-aware. Understand yourself as a lady and begin to work from a place of self-awareness. Self-awareness is always power. Number 2, seek to understand the other person, to understand your fellow ladies, to understand the men around you. Understanding always breaks barriers. And number 3, build bridges. Put yourself in the shoe of the other person and begin to feel what could be pinching them. Then you're going to be more empathetic to the other person, whether it's your fellow lady or it's a man out there. I believe, look at me now as I go. I really believe that men and women working together in this generation, we can and we must break the bias. I cannot do nothing because I have 2 daughters. And I know I'm going to have some grandchildren because I'm beginning to see some signs. And I don't want my daughters to live in a place where they're judged because of what they wear and because of what their genes are, X, Y. I want to see my daughters judged by their character and their competence. We must and we will break the barrier. And understanding is where we begin. May the Lord bless you very much. I have 2 books here that I would like to make available in case you'd like to get a copy. One is Dad is Destiny, The Difference a Father Makes. I've also written a book on motherhood. But this is about dads, and in case you want to get a copy, I would give you. This was your birthday, so I can give you a gift. And there's one more here, boys to men, turning boys into real men. Helping your boys, especially teen boys, be able to understand how to become wholesome men. God bless you very much, and what a privilege to be here today.
Ladies in the house say, that's so sweet. This guy needs a standing ovation. This guy needs a standing ovation. Let's clap for him. He's really touched our hearts. DJ, I want that song which says that every day you're going to walk with us. Every day you're going to bless us as he has actually blessed us with so many, many inspirational words and encouragement. DJ, can we get the song? In the house, can I see your hands? Can we move a bit?
Every day you put your hand, go walk. You never open doors. You stop, go be a boss. Every day you put your hand, go walk. You never open doors. You stop, go be a boss. Every hustler getting paid. Where the hustle go come. Your body take order again. Just to look at now. If you don't find one to your own, God stop go do it. And flesh go come. If you believe it, say amen. If you believe it, say amen.
We just wanted to stand up and say that we are really going to be blessed by what we have been told. At this particular time, ladies, I want us to do something. I want us to get out our phones. We go to Twitter. I know everybody has got a phone. Tuchukue simu zetu. Let's take our phones. Take out our phones. Let's go to Twitter. We want to tweet. We want to tweet. And this is what we are going to tweet. Hashtag break the bias at Kenya Pipeline as one word, at Nation Media Group, GRP as one word. Today is our day to celebrate the International Women's Day, and we are going to celebrate as Kenya Pipeline family. So let's take out our phones. Hashtag break the bias at Kenya Pipeline at Nation Media Group. Group is GRP. We are doing that. DJ, let that song continue as we are tweeting. I want us to tweet. Everybody who has a phone here, let us tweet, 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 tweet. DJ, let that song play as we tweet.
Everything you put your hand, go walk. Your name go open doors. You stop, go be a boss. Everything you put your hand, go walk. Your name go open doors. You stop, go be a boss.
As the music continues to play, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. With your phone, I want you to take a picture of the person you are sitting to, because all of you are beautiful today. As you tweet with that picture. Let us take those pictures. Somebody else, and if you don't have, you can tweet me. I'm here for free. You can tweet me. If you cannot, you can tweet me. Very beautiful smiles. I like that. I like this table. Did you see that, Ruby? They have broken the buyer's fear. Yes, let's continue tweeting. I can see Madam Nyambura tweeting. Yes, yes, yes. Let's continue tweeting. Yes. I want every table to see selfie as we tweet. Remember hashtag break the bias at Kenya Pipeline, at Nation Media Group, and we feel happy. Thank you. DJ, that song to come up. Tajiri wake kwa kipimo cha chupa kusupwa supwa. I want you to stand up that we are tweeting and we are dancing. We are tweeting.
Nani apinge alichosema Mungu? Nani alaani
alichofanya tweeting? Beautiful, beautiful. Amen here tweeting.
Alichotenda Mungu.
We need to help this table to tweet. Wilka, are you helping us tweet? Thank you so much.
Everything you put your hand go walk.
Now I want to welcome Nyambura. We come, we dance this song as we welcome our only one. Karibu sana. Wote tusimame tukaribishe our GM as we go to the next session.
Amen. Amen. Every hustler getting paid. Where the hustle go come the pay. Your body novelty. Amen.
Thank you, DJ. Thank you.
All right, that was quite exciting. Without taking, further ado, I'm very short with the words, by the way. I'm not very good in speaking in public, and I have a fear of stairs. I kindly invite Dr. Macharia to the stage. This is the biggest champion of women in this company. So please, let's give him a hand. Namseme woo woo. Aya.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Warembo wa KPC mpo? Je, hamjambo? Nawapenda mno. I call all of you my baby girls. If you want to understand the true meaning of baby girl, Google Urban Dictionary. You'll understand the meaning of baby girl. Well, wageni mashuhuri, tukianza na mtumishi wa Mungu Bwana Mbevi, mwenyekiti na madirectors wote wa kampuni hili la bomba la mafuta, warembo ndio wageni hapa. Mpo tena. Sasa ningependa pia kuwashukuru GMs ambao wako hapa. Asanteni sana kwa kuja kukaa nasi. Nina ujumbe mfupi. I was sent by two naughty boys. One is Ngira. Ngira told me to come and tell you. When I think the MC was saying, I don't know who said, without women, what will happen in this world? What Ngira told me, no woman, no cry. Adam did not cry until a woman came. And you can understand the next one from Henry. Do I say Henry? Huh? Do I say? I think no woman, no cries was Henry. What Ngira was taught when he was a young man, that two things to fear in this world is alcohol and women. Me, I was said, there they are. Am I lying, gentlemen? So that is very interesting. Notwithstanding, we are celebrating you, ladies. Let's break the bias. And I'll explain as I end what brings in bias within my ladies, warembo wangu. Sky is the limit, you know very well, and you limit yourself. Every time a lady comes to my office, can I apply for this job? I always feel like I'll slap them because they deserve it. Yeah, you deserve to be where you are. If you look at my team today, I have more ladies than men coming into. The promotions we've done, we've been very carefully to look at ladies in this house. You deserve. A group I would like to them to stand. Lady engineers, may you stand. I'm always excited to meet these ladies. And let's increase them in numbers. They run this. These are my most trusted people. I don't mean I don't trust men, but I can tell you, ladies don't lie like men we do, even in work. So ladies, we appreciate you on that front. We celebrate many, the late Wangari. We have Professor Angila, just last year, the only lady in Africa who was nominated as the scientist of this world, Kenyan. We have people like Madam Rita, they've broken the jinx of becoming a chair. You can see I was trying to behave like, how will I look with the ladies? My prayer, one day when I exist KPC, that the next MD will be a lady. That's my prayer. Because as I was seated there, I was wondering why me to come here and speak on a ladies' day while ladies in this house can't be MDs. And I'll explain why you guys keep on dragging each other behind. We are all equal. We serve this society in different capacities. Men are not above you, and ladies are not above. I always hear my wife saying, you are the head, but I'm the neck. I turn you the way I want. And I agree to that because I've enjoyed 26 years of marriage, so I can't complain about that. Personally, as Macharia, I'm committed to this agenda. We'll train you. We will lead you properly. We'll take you to whatever training you need to get you out of that spider web which you always put yourself. Please, ladies, come up front and say what you want us to train. And I know my chair here and the board will support me with that. I don't think we don't have money. We have money. It's you to identify the causes you want, which will propagate you to where you want to be. Ladies, let me tell you, work hard. Nothing on this earth is given on a silver platter. It's not about your experience in KPC. It's not about your education. It's how hard you work. So I can get a 28-year-old promoted to be a manager and leave you the 50-year-old. And you wonder why. Because it is demonstrated by the work you do. So don't look at it differently from working hard. And nobody will give you anything on a silver platter. As I said again, I'm committed to supporting you all. But my problem is this. Ladies, you keep on pulling each other down. The biggest bias is not about men to you. It's you against each other. And I've seen in KPC. You don't love each other. You see a lady being promoted, you start nyef-nyef. Men don't do nyef-nyef. Men get promoted, they move on. You see Jenny is going to get promoted, she's going to an interview, you say she doesn't deserve it. She's young. She needs to stay. Yeah? So please, break the bias within yourselves. You are the problem. If you see a lady going for interview, pray for her. Not feeling, because he was seen with MD, he'll get the job. Can't I meet anybody? If today, Director Elsie is seen with me, wanafanya nini? Hii ni nini inaendelea? Hakuna kitu inaendelea? That's what happens. Let's mentor each other. When you see Jacinta come into my office, stay in 30 minutes, there's nothing. It's work. etc. Because from there you'll hear, alikuwa kwa MD, walikuwa nasema nini? Walikuwa nazungumza nini? Alikuwa nasengenya nani? Do you understand? Then there used to be a register when I came in, and that's why I refuse people to queue in my office. We will call you. We'll have your name, we'll call you. Nobody sits around my office. So that we remove that political stories you guys had. What am I saying? Please, get out and support each other, ladies. Mutaachwa nyuma na hii nyef yenyu. Sijui kama mnanielewa na sina ubaya. Pande mmenisikia? Mpenda na muombeane. Hakuna kitu hata nani profesa gani akikuja hapa. Hata mtumishi wa Mungu gani akikuja hapa. Kama hamtapendana, hamna kitu, hamtaendelea. Na hiyo ndio shida yenu. Warembo wangu. Sijui kama mnanielewa. Sasa mnajua leo ni siku muhimu. Na kuna mradi tumeanzisha hapa KPC wa recognize our service heroes. And we started last month. Among us, some also men. I want to celebrate Caro Ahogo. I know directors, you know. This is the lady who kept us checked on our returns. Stand up, Caro. Where is Caro? Okay, I got to know Caro through drivers. At 3 o'clock, send Caro an email. It shall be answered. I wonder what time she sleeps. Do you believe Caro does a good job? Let's celebrate her. Our Madam Nurse, you know Madam Nurse in KPC? Who's that? Flora. You don't have your card and you're hospital, you've forgotten your card. Flora will get an email somewhere and write to the hospital. I'll be treated. Nobody in KPC can die so long Flora is alive. Thank you, Flo. I have my own lady. This is not bias. I did nominate her, Grace Njoroge. Before Grace was promoted, and left me. She gave me all the support I needed as MD of this company. Grace knows the entire oil marketing companies, AMDs, managers, etc. It's easy for me to use Grace any day, any time to go and represent me. Grace, where are you? Please stand. Thank you, Grace. My lady, who is about to retire, Faith Kabinga. I guarantee you for 2 and 3 months I've worked with her, we've not quarreled. I've not asked her. I've never seen a mistake. She's just an angel. Wonderful, wonderful lady. And I promise you this, she's not leaving me soon. So she'll be around with me until the day Madam Chair decides otherwise. So please inform her. The lady who makes my appraisal go well. You guess who that is? Sarah, please stand. Chair, this is the lady turning the page on our appraisal. It's no longer tick the box. We sit down. Everybody must sit with their supervisor and do an appraisal. Sarah, I truly appreciate you. Judy Geshane in Mombasa. Elsie, when you go there, that smiling face, making sure we have water, we have PPEs, and we are taken care of throughout the day. She doesn't get tired. She's an amazing lady. Let's celebrate her. Lastly, the lady who does scribe in the board, who sits with the board, hears all the secrets and keeps them to herself. Beryl Nalo. So this is our list for now, and we want to celebrate you all. Don't worry, if we've not reached you, we'll come. And the only thing I ask you ladies, because nasikianga maombi yenu inafikanga mbinguni haraka kushinda sisi wakora, muombe kampuni yenu. Hii kampuni ni mzuri sana. Muombe hii pipeline. hatujalala wengine sababu ya Kisumu, na Mungu alitusaidia, mafuta hayakuingia kwa lake. Hiyo ni Mungu. Kwa hivyo muendelee kuombea kampuni yetu. Asanteni sana, nashukuru kwa nafasi hii, lakini pia muombe siku ile nitaondoka, mwanadada aje asimame hapa kama mkurugenzi mkuu. Shukran. Let me start with the lawyer in the house, Director Sophia. She's not around. Director Elsie, come and greet us. We want to hear your beautiful voice and see how beautiful you are dressed and created.
So first, I think, let me start by saying it is such an incredible honor to be here. You know, just to see how beautiful you all look. You know, it's a real honor. And thank you to Nyambura for all the hard work of organizing this. I think also to the MD for just the incredible work that you have done, both I think to support the board. I don't think we would stand here and be this proud if you and the GMs, I know I see Zilpa, I see many of you here, thank you for making us look good, for doing the hard work. You know, we are here and we excel because you're the guys who are running on the ground. So asante ni sana. I think with that, you know, we are having a conversation with our KPC board chair, who we are incredible. Isn't she incredible, right? Isn't she incredible? And I have to say, she has just been an incredible mentor, an incredible friend to me. In fact, sometimes, very often, she can tell you, I forget that she's the board chair. And long after KPC, she's somebody who will be in my life. So I hope that as you guys, you know, have exposure and get to know her, please go say hi, get to know her a little bit better on a personal level. I think what we have tried to do is to ensure that we are a lot more accessible, that we're human. I think those thoughts that the board is somewhere there. But we are custodians of this wonderful company that you guys have built. You know, without the hard work that each one of you does, you know, we would not be here. We would not be as proud as we are. So just want to thank each one of you for all the incredible work, and for me as BTC chair, especially to my engineers. So we had a quick conversation, and she said, I think perhaps maybe the remarks that you can make is to share what it takes to succeed in the petroleum sector. So again, these are a few remarks before I open it up to the board chair for her speech. So I think the first thing I can say is that we are a technical company. I would encourage you to think about this particular company, not just from a Kenyan standpoint, not just from a regional standpoint, but from a global standpoint. Geopolitics in the sector that we're in are inexorably linked together. We see the Russian invasion in Ukraine. We see how it impacts our oil prices. I would encourage, it does not matter whether you're in HR, whether you're in admin, learn about what is happening in the sector. Think global, because there are so many incredible opportunities. I would say the second thing is society is actually asking us at the moment to rethink our industry. We're primarily in the petroleum industry. But right now, as a result of the urge to get to net zero and climate change, we're being forced to look at climate change and support green investments. At least from my end, where I do a lot of financial transactions and big infrastructure transactions across Africa, we're definitely seeing a lot of money moving away from our sector into green energy. This is an incredible opportunity. And I say an incredible opportunity because the oil and gas sector for a long time was an old boys network. And what that means is that those lines are completely being redrawn. And who better to take advantage of that and create those new lines in this new sector than ourselves? So read up. understand where is all this money, all these pledges, $100 billion a year to emerging markets. Where is all this money going to be spent? Think about clean cooking. We're all women. Many of our mothers, our grandmothers, still use kerosene. We can support LPG, but it's so much bigger. The conversation is so much bigger than that. ESG, environmental, social, and governance. So thanks to Nyambura for the S, and thanks to the MD for the S in terms of increasing diversity and promoting a lot of our women. But there's still governance. There are billions and billions of dollars out there for us to take advantage of. Data. I always marvel that people come and invest in this country with such limited data. And it's not just Kenya, it's across Africa. It's completely a black box. So just imagine, and I'm not saying that you leave us, but even your side hustles, to make a sense of all the information that is readily available so that you can support investors and encourage them to come in here. So I urge you to take up technical and financial positions. I know we often feel like they're made for, for men, that they're tough. Take them up because, all this knowledge is incremental. In every position that you're in, do the absolute best. It might seem that it's lateral, but everything adds up. Then, sort of the last, just 3 things that I want you to just think through in terms of, thinking about the petroleum sector and where we're going. I would say, and I think, Mr. Simon mentioned it as well, our emotional intelligence is our superpower. I always use this example. So in my early 20s, I was running JP Morgan's LNG facility. So it's the biggest LNG facility in the US. And the way it always works is your PA, I'm 25 at that point, your PA usually will go down and get your clients. At this point, there were your Exxons, your Chevrons, etc. And they usher them to the boardroom. Now, I was the lead. I was JP Morgan's sole, only North America LNG trader at that time. With exposure for every cargo that I would move, I'd have exposure of about $20 million. So when these gentlemen, white gentlemen, walked into the room and saw me standing there, they couldn't fathom that I could be the trader on this transaction. So what they did was give me their coats to hang. And I hung their coats. And then asked me to pour them a cup of tea. And as my mother taught me, I made that cup of tea and put their coffee. Now, when our managing director walked in the room, he was completely appalled. And I said, relax, we got this. What is your job? What is your end goal? My end goal is a trader. I'm supposed to go out there and bring money in. This is what pays my bonuses. This is what pays my car. This is what pays my vacations. So why would I fuss about this? And as soon as we were done with that, I went and sat at the top of the board table. And what that meant, just by using that emotional intelligence, I knew that my negotiating power had just gone 10x. I was going to clean up. So ladies, clean up in the positions that you're in. And do not be apologetic about it. I would say the other thing is do your inner work. I think this one I've sort of started, appreciating a little bit more lately. With a lot of the tasks, with a lot of the pressure, with a lot of the decisions that you're asked to make, you need to take care of yourself. And it's not just take care of yourself with looking fantastic, just the way you guys all look beautiful, but it's taking care of your mind. I always say, and my chair can tell you, if it's not urgent, usually even on the weekends, I will ask, is it urgent? I don't take calls before 8 a.m. It's not to say that I don't have pressure, But that time in the morning is critical, whether it's meditation, whether it's that exercise, whether it's being with your family and making sure that you have breakfast with them. That time is yours. So as women, we often forget to carve out time. You take care of yourself, you will do much better in your jobs. I think the last thing that I would say is be bold. Be bold. And I say this because a lot of people reach out to me. So CS Monica Juma had an event over the weekend and asked me to speak because I do a lot of stuff on the power sector as well. And one thing, a lot of the questions that I was asked were about imposter syndrome. And what I want to remind you is that every single person has imposter syndrome, including myself. But what you do is that you override that fear and you still get the job done. So I think with those short remarks, allow me to open it up for the speech by our board chair, Ms. 𝗞𝗣𝗀.
I request that we all rise as we welcome our mama. DJ, I want us to welcome our mama in a good way. DJ, let's dance to that song as we welcome our mama. Dance with some pride. Hey, Mama Mulai.
Mama Napoyo, Mareva, Langwe.
I want you to dance na marimba kidogo. Ndio hiyo sasa.
Hana bene.
Ladies, let us join them to dance this song.
Nyimba mama. Malaika wa hoira. Mama mulaya kila baba. Mama mulai. Mama mulaya kila baba. Mama mulai. Mama mulaya kila baba. Mama mulai. Mama mulaya kila baba.
Yes, this is better. Thank you very much. You may be seated. I was telling you, if you're going to dance, then dance. You know, don't be half-hearted. So, you know, when they put the song at the end, if you're going to dance, dance. And if you're not going to dance, sit down. But don't be half-hearted, right? I think that's one of the challenges we face as women. Sometimes you're so worried about what people think, what people say. It doesn't matter. Do you? Yeah, they'll still say, there's a song we used to sing when we were young in Mombasa. Wacha waseme. Watasema mchana usiku watalala. You know, so don't be so obsessed about what people say and think. So distinguished guests, and thank you very much. Our guests from Santonomy, Pastor, thank you for joining us today. My colleague directors here today, I see Director Elsie, thank you. Not only my director, a colleague director, but a friend, and somebody I really cherish. Our MD, the champion of women, in KPC. Thank you for all the great work you do every single day. For all the late nights, for all the pressure, for all the stress that it takes to get this going. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so very much. I've learned a few things from Pastor today, so after this we'll be taking a walk to talk about the weekend. We'll be like shoulder to shoulder, and we can talk about Kisumu. I think we'll have a very good conversation. I also really want to thank the ladies who sit on the board with us. So I really want to thank Beryl. You've been recognized already. Thank you, Beryl, for doing renditions of minutes, notes, going through my green pen, trying to read my writing. Thank you. I also want to thank our CS Flora. Is she here today? MD, please pass on all right. Please pass on my personal gratitude to her. It would be remiss of me not to thank the GMs. And because today is Women's Day, I appreciate the contribution of the GMs who happen to be male, because I don't think roles are occupied by gender. Roles are occupied by capable people who happen to be male or female. And you need to get that in your head. That will break a lot of the bias you have. So my GMs who happen to be female, if you could just stand up and take a bow. I saw Zilpa. I think Thank you so very much. Nyambura, come out of the shadows. I want to see your face. Yeah. Thank you so much for what you do every day, for supporting our MD, for supporting us. We pass resolutions, you go and implement them, and they're not always popular. But thank you for taking the flak. And now I want to recognize the men who have made room for these women on the table. You've got to remember that. We come from a patriarchal society. Don't ever forget that. These positions were occupied by men. And one of the biases we have to break as well is the bias that says that all men are anti-women. That is not true. Men made room for us at the table. Certainly men made room for me to become chair. I don't know about anybody else, but there were a couple of men who sat somewhere, probably with some women, but I think the men's vote was very important. So the men who are in the executive team. Okay, MD. Yes, thank you. Is it just you? Are you the only champion? Where is Pius? Where is everyone else? That will be my safety moment at the next board meeting. I want to thank all the managers, everybody who works at KPC. I want to just specially call out the lady engineers. I know you were called out before, but I want to say a big thank you. You keep us going. You are really breaking the bias every single day. You know, I was so happy, MD, when I heard, you know, one of the things that gave me joy about Kisumu, one of the few things that gave me joy about Kisumu, was the fact that the operation to restore was led by a lady. Believe Engineer Lucy is her name? Yes. And I was so impressed because I think 5, 6, 7 years ago, that would not have even been a thought on anybody's mind. But the fact that, you know, you allowed her to lead, you allowed her to take the reins, and when I called you on Saturday morning, you told me, no, Chair, don't worry. I've got a competent team down there, led by Lucy. I was so impressed by the confidence that you had in her. So all the ladies, thank you so much for what you do every day. I see some of you on the line. I see some of you operating those computers that Director Else is always trying to help me understand. And I'm so, so grateful for what you do every day. So today, I'm going to talk to you about bias, but I want us to look outside in. Last year when I spoke to you, we spoke about inward, what we need to do, right? And I'm a little bit disappointed if what the MD said is true, and I believe it's true because I didn't hear anybody say no, that we are fighting amongst ourselves as women. Why would you do that? I really struggle to understand. Why? Why? You know, the birds in the sky don't fight for space, do they? There's enough space for every bird in the sky. All you need to do is soar, spread your wings and fly. Stop looking down. Stop looking beside you and seeing your neighbor as competition. The competition is actually yourself. If you take on board the things that Director Else has just spoken about, if I ask some of you, what is the price of Brent crude today? Who knows? I'm actually looking for an answer. No, from you. You would know. But the rest of the KPC ladies, what is the price of Brent crude? Okay. Huh? So people are whispering. Don't Google. What is the price? Now, if you don't know those basics about your industry, these are real basics. I'm not even in the oil, well, I am now by virtue of being chair, but I was never in the oil industry before, but I know the price. It's 122 USD. Now, if you don't know that, that is a real basic. Please do not blame anybody when you don't get the job. Do you understand where I'm coming from? If you can't read a financial statement, if I ask you last year, what was the total revenue of KPC? I do this with women a lot. In Safaricom, I did the same. What was our total revenue? Who knows? Not somebody in finance. I don't want Pamela. Pamela, if you're sitting next to somebody, don't tell anybody anything. Okay. How many of us would want to be CEO of KPC? One day. Put up your hand. Just put it up. You want to be CEO of KPC? Put your hand up. Come, I see some hands. Put your hands up. Is that all the ambition I have in the room? You have a female chair, and I only have 2 people who want to be CEO. Maybe I should sit down. Okay, let's try again. How many of you have thought that you could be CEO one day? That of any institution. Thank you, Beryl. How many? Okay. Let me tell you something about being CEO. You can put your hands down. If you do not know your numbers, any business, if you don't know your numbers, you don't understand the business. Do you agree? Why do you open a business? Why do you think the government says this is a commercial parastatal, a strategic commercial parastatal? Is it because we pump oil? Yes, maybe. But what else? We make money. Ultimately, it's about the return that we give to the shareholder. Now, if you don't understand the basics, revenue, how much are you making? You should know. Some of you have been here longer than I have been. You should know. What are our costs? What is our margin? What is our gross margin? What is our return on investment? These are things you have to learn. So can I make a suggestion? Instead of pointing fingers and figuring out who's in the MD's office and what they're doing there and how long they have been there and who's going next and who has an appointment next week and what happened to so-and-so last week when she wore a red dress and so-and-so and she had the green dress and she went to PS28, instead of all that stuff, can you just focus on yourself for 6 months? Focus on yourself. Understand the basics of your business. Understand the basics of your industry. Wherever you are, even if you want to do HR, you need to understand the numbers. For you to sit at that exco table, you have to understand numbers. If you ever want to be a GM, you must understand the basics. If we are going to raise a female CEO from within this room, from within this organization, you must understand the numbers, because when you come for the interview, and the interview is rough, you can have a sidebar with Dr. He will tell you about his interview. It's rough. It's not a walk in the park. You need to know these things. So can I suggest that we begin to focus on ourselves? The problem with women, we are actually more intelligent than men in the sense that we retain things. We've got a very good memory. You have a photographic memory. That's why Pastor's wife remembers what he wore on the first date. Pastor would never remember. He has no clue. He doesn't even know what he looked like on that day. He just knows he met this girl. And if you ask him the date, he'll say, sometime, I think it was April. No, maybe it was May. But the woman has the date, precise date and time and location. You've got good memory. Put it to work. What did I say? For your own good. Not to remember things that are not necessary. You only have one life. Please don't spend it figuring out what your colleague is doing on the desk next to you. That is not what you're born to be. So can we agree that we stop this bickering? This pettiness. Actually, it's just pettiness. Because when you get to a place where you're the chair and there's a director and she's a lady, and you have other women and you're leading men, men first of all pick their cue from how you relate with other women on that table. If you're not relating well, they're not going to listen to you. You've got to lead yourself first. So the other woman is not your competition. She's your enabler. And the one thing you must never do as a woman is run off to a man and say, oh, I think so-and-so is completely useless. Yeah? Camping in Lenaroshi's office the whole day. The main agenda is to discuss how so-and-so was promoted last week and why you think it was wrong. Meanwhile, you have no idea what the price of Brent crude is. It's appalling. It really is. So, I think we need some more talks on the inside, just judging from this. And I think Director Elsie and I have planned with the MD to do a roadshow. And we'll come and just give you some honest truths. Because as women, you need to hear the truth. Yes, you're beautiful. Yes, you're wonderful. Yes, you're smart. But it's not enough. Otherwise, all of us would be at the top. It takes a lot more than that. But today, I want us to focus, you know, the theme for this year's Women's Day is what? Okay, so can we do together? Break. Okay. And I want us to talk about why is there a bias in society against women? And what does the average Kenyan woman go through from the time of birth? Because we are incredibly privileged to be where we are today. Whether you accept it or not, whether you think so or not, you're in the top quartile of Kenya's economic sector. You're probably in the top quartile of women in this country in terms of education, exposure. And we must put the ladder back down for other women to climb up. Let me say that again. We must put the ladder back down for other women to climb up. In my tenure as chair, there must be more women doing more at KPC. And I'm very grateful to have an MD who believes in that vision and is running with it, and he's actually taken it from me and is championing it. So I'm now also just following his lead. But we must have more women doing more at KPC. But if you think of the odds of getting here, just think of what you survived to get here. First of all, in Kenya, the maternal mortality rate, this is the number of women who die in the process of giving birth, is average 362 out of every 100,000. That's a lot. And that's average. In places like Turkana, it's 700. In places like Lamu, it's 600. In places like Siaya, it's 600. They die. And why do they die? They don't have access to facilities. They don't have access to doctors. They don't have access to even antenatal or postnatal care. And a lot of them maybe got pregnant at a young age. So first of all, it is very likely that if a woman comes into this world and she's born in those areas, she's going to grow up without a mother. It's a crisis that we have in Kenya. A lot of the times, a lot of our women grow up without fathers. But some of us grow up as orphans. That is a place where we as KPC women must begin to see what can we do to break that bias. Because if women are not born and they don't survive and they're not brought up, you will not have women around the table. Do you agree? If girls cannot survive childhood, there's no point talking about women empowerment. There are no women to empower. So how do we save girls and children? I'm not trying to give you some ideas of what you can do this year to actively break the bias that is external to you, that we can support other women. Now, when the girl, if she survives childhood and her mother is alive, and she begins to grow up in the home, a lot of them face a big problem that with the MD support and the board support, we're looking to solve. Water. You may underestimate the value of water because you open a tap and water trickles. But those of you who grew up in the village, like I did, you know what water is. You know how far you walk to get water, to fetch it, to bring it back. Half of it spills, you go back. Now this girl is going to school, she's trying to learn, but she spends her morning fetching water. She's up at 4 a.m. to fetch water at 6, and then walks to school for 2 or 3 hours, gets there, and she is competing with boys, and she's competing with your daughter, who was dropped to school in a car with a driver seated on the back seat in the air conditioning. If she survives that, she's got to go back home and still do the chores. She's the one to wash the plates. She's the one to do the cooking. When does she study? And therefore, what can we as KPC do to break that bias? Because that is an unconscious bias that we have grown up with that says women do certain things in the home and boys don't do other things. And therefore you find that boys naturally excel, not because they're smarter, but actually because they have more time to spend doing what they need to do. How do we make sure that we get more women through school? We make sure that we give them water. We make sure that we provide to them. When we talk about these thematic areas for Women's Day, we have to personalize them and see what can we do in our own environment to make a difference. So when we begin some of these projects, I am hoping that the champion of these projects will be women from this room who understand what it means to break the bias. So say she actually makes it past primary school and she gets into high school. Now she's confronted with other things, depending on where she comes from. She's confronted with a father who wants her to marry so that he can get dowry. She's confronted with access to sanitary towels. So maybe for 3-4 days in a week, she doesn't go to school. For a week in a month, she doesn't go to school. How do we break that bias? And these are biases, yes, not necessarily created by men, But there are biases that exist. What do we practically do as an organization to break that bias? If she gets into tertiary school, we as KPC have to actively encourage young women to take STEM courses. I think you all know what STEM is. Science, technology. Oh, good. Give yourselves a round of applause. That's the only question that I've given you. You've answered well. So you have to encourage actively women to take STEM. And once they take STEM, we have to have policies, Nyambura, that attract women to us and give them an opportunity. If you're talking about breaking the bias, you know, it's very easy for me to stand up here and say, oh, let's break the bias, government should do this, so and so should do this. What are we going to do as KPC? What are we going to do? So Lenaroshi, your No Woman, No Cry, will be there for a long time because women will be here for a while. So how do we encourage more women to actually join KPC? And when they join KPC, some of the things that Director Elsie spoke about in terms of making sure that we are taking our own responsibility to grow our careers, but also that we provide an enabling environment for women to thrive in their careers, which means we don't bias them unconsciously because of certain factors of their physiology, which means they get pregnant, they go to take 3 months off. Sometimes it's a bias. You take 3 months off and you miss a promotion. How do we eliminate that from our ecosystem? How do we have more women sitting in positions of power but armed? Okay? So there is affirmative action, which I believe in, but I don't believe in tokenism. There's a difference. Affirmative action means you put a woman in a position because you know she's capable of doing her job. She may not have all the skills at the point of being put in the role, but she can certainly meet that gap. Tokenism is where you give a job to a woman just because she's the only woman in the room. And actually what happens with tokenism is that it actually sets back the entire agenda of breaking the bias. Because what it does is that it enforces the bias that women cannot do, women cannot learn. So you have to make sure that when you're brought to the table, if there's no table, you bring the table, right? But if there is a table, you occupy your seat properly. That means you understand what needs to be done, you understand how to do it, you understand your business in terms of what does your business do and how do you make money. So that's breaking the bias. If it's HR, be the best HR professional in this country. If it's marketing, be the best marketing professional in this country. Don't settle for half-hearted measures. Then the last thing that I will say, then I will sit down, is how do we break the bias sometimes in relationships? The relationships that we have with each other as women, the relationships we have with our, let me call it significantly other, I think that's the politically correct term. How do we break the bias in terms of what we are doing, how we are treating each other, in terms of our understanding of the role that men play in our lives and the role that we play in their lives? Because it is true what Pastor said. As a woman, if you don't guard your relationships, your life will crumble. You need to be very careful who you allow into your inner circle. Because if that inner circle is not in sync, your whole life is a mess. There's some women who, you know, sometimes you are great. With time you are great, you know, but when you first start, you know how it is when you're completely in love with this guy, who you know is a bad guy, by the way. There's some, your intuition tells you, and you know, Pastor was right, yeah? Your intuition will tell you this is a bad guy, isn't it? But you'll still go for him. Why? Because you're the one who's going to change him. God has given you this mission to change this man, and you're going to pray him into alignment, and he will be the wonderful husband and the caring. And you don't realize that men don't change because, you know, you want them to change. A man changes because he wants you. He wants to change. And let me tell you something else. I don't know why I'm saying this, but let me just say it. If a man loves you, there is nothing you do that will make him stop loving you. And if a man doesn't love you, nothing you do will make him love you. Please understand that as men. Nothing you do. You can stand on your head, you can go and get a figure 8 figure, you can have all kinds of things. but nothing you do will make him love you. So the best thing you can do for yourself when you know a man does not love you is get yourself out of the way before you get hurt. Don't insist. Don't push. You end up now walking down the aisle with this guy who half loves you. Then after that, you're permanently in counseling and looking for friends and praying. Every prayer meeting for marriage, you're there. Father, in the name of Jesus, Father. Huh? Or you've gone to the sheikh. Oh, sheikh. Tuombe. From the beginning, you knew this was not the guy. So what I'm saying is understand the role of relationships in your life. That's number one. Number two, don't have too many female friends. You don't need them. Not too many. I'm not saying don't have. But you know, there are those of us, we are permanently, you know, because also female friends take your time. You don't have that time that you're supposed to have for yourself. You're permanently in a chama. You're organizing a wedding. There's a Rura show. There's a Harambe. You're just in a constant stream of event planning. You know, the women who, you have event planning is your main job. Then you happen to be an admin at KPC. So they call you at KPC, say, okay, hold on, I'm coming. What were you saying? What is the color scheme for Friday? What are we wearing again? You need to put yourself apart. That is why people who are successful are lonely. People who are successful do not have many friends. The danger also with having many friends is working with the assumption that everybody is on your side, which sometimes may not be true. I would like us to all be good, but the reality is that even after this speech today, some of you will go back and say, what was she saying? She's not been in KPC. Been here for 10 years. Tumeona wengi, hata huyo ataenda tu. So there's some people like that, and that's fine, and you're here in the room, and that's fine, but I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the ladies who want to change, the ladies who really want to break the bias, and didn't come here for breakfast and to see what so-and-so is wearing. They came to take something away. So the fewer female friends you have, sometimes the better it is for us. Because you create more time for yourself, and you're able to do the right thing, and then you have quality friendships. Quality friendships are very important. I have friends like Director 𝗚𝗀 who come and tell me, no, let's do this way. Or I don't think this is right. When I sit down with Director 𝗚𝗀, I don't even remember having a conversation about people. We don't talk about people. So this bias that you have that women always sit and gossip is actually untrue. Because what we are after is sharpening each other mentally, sharpening each other as leaders of this organization, to move this organization and any other organization that we lead forward. So if you look in your circle of friends, what value are they bringing to your table? Are they one telling you, hey, yesterday I saw your MD. I saw him in this place with so-and-so. How is that possible? Hey, no wonder she was promoted. At that moment you call, hey, I have gist for you. I have tea, hot tea. Meanwhile, your career is dwindling. The woman is moving forward. Why? Ask yourself, why is it? You see, if you look even at our legislature today, we have more women in the Senate. We have more women in Parliament. We have more women as ministers, as PSs, as CASs than we have ever had in the history of this country. True or false? So it's not necessarily about opportunity, but if we reflect and we ask ourselves, what have we as a community of women done for that girl in Turkana? How has her life changed because there are more women in positions of power? Sometimes it hasn't. Because why? We are too busy fighting each other and fighting, small wars, petty wars that take us nowhere. So my plea to you today as I close, when we talk about breaking the bias, sometimes don't look outside. Sometimes the biases are inward. They're with us. And sometimes the biases that exist, we can break. And if you're looking for leadership, if you're looking to make a difference, you can start anywhere. You can start with your local hospital. You can start as sitting as a board member of your local school. You can start in any of these places. You can start a water project. When you understand the impact that one thing has on another in terms of cause and effect. Because it would be so sad that after we leave KPC, the number of women in this tent dwindles. Actually, our objective should be that we have a bigger tent, because each one of us has raised 2 or 3 women to take up after us. And that's a challenge I'm going to leave with you today. When we meet here next year, you know, I'd like to, well, Nyambura allowing, budget allowing, MD allowing, I'd like us to bring those 2 or 3 women that we have brought up, that are now standing with us and standing next to us, you know, shoulder to shoulder, as men do. And that shoulder to shoulder expression of men is a very true expression. When one man is faced with a crisis, what do men do? They stand shoulder to shoulder. I don't know if you realize this. They build a wall to protect their own. Yeah? Maybe it's because, Pastor, I don't know, you're the spiritual people. Maybe it's because we like being face to face as women that we're not able to build this barrier and pull together. Because men do that very well. You fight one of their own, you're fighting all of them. And that's the way we should be. So let's go out there and break the bias. God bless you all.
Wow. Madam, I would request that you remain on the stage. You can just take a seat as we go to the other session. Thank you. Let us give a round of applause to Mama Rita. Louder. Strength of a woman. I want us to shout. Okay? Strength of a woman. Okay.
So amazing how this world was made. I wonder if God is a woman.
Okay? You wonder if that is? Exactly. And let us shout strength of a woman. Thank you. We are going into another session. I wish to request our MD to come and join Mama Rita on the stage. Madam Elsie, we will request that you also join Mama Rita on the stage. Bwana Mbevi, I will also request that you join Mama Rita on the stage. Thank you. Let's clap for them as they go to the stage. Wako wawili wawili. Kulikuwa na moja, tulikuwa tuna break bias. I want to request Boma to come and help me to move this dais. Boma, where you are? Kindly give us some music, DJ, as they move the...
The gift of life astounds me to this day.
Rashid, wherever you are,
For the woman.
help me.
She's the constant wind that fills my sail. Oh, that woman. With a smile and a star, she'll protect you like a child. That's a woman. She'll put a smile upon her face and take you to the higher place. So don't you underestimate.
Thank you. I want to welcome Madam Nyambura to take us through this session. Karibu sana.
Today we are playing musical chairs. Ready? You came with the wrong shoes, Director Elsie. Ready? Yes, we are playing. No cake today. Today we are playing. Okay, sorry. I've shocked you. This guy is not shaken. He was ready to do musical chairs. Anyway, so this is the gifting session. We sat with a group of ladies who I'm going to tell to stand, who helped me put this program together. We look like we were last minute because we were expecting to do something with Mama Ida Odinga. That is still on course. I won't go into the nitty-gritties about it. So this was kind of like a last-minute plan B. This year I wanted to take you somewhere with Madam Odinga. Now, kama unajua tumeketi na wewe boardroom for the last 2 days, please stand up. Do you want to introduce yourselves quickly so that these people can know we are about to give them something? All right.
Thank you. My name is Esther Nane from HR. Thank you.
Sophia Jama from HR. Thank you.
Sarah Mero from HR.
Flora Sumbeyo, HR.
Victoria Odhiambo, ICT.
Sheila Chepsiror, admin.
All right, so we were thinking, what do we give to great people? And there's a story. Who? Someone else? Oh! Wolo, lo. Paula, wapi Linda?
My name is Nancy Rono, supply chain.
My name is Linda, corporate communications.
My name is Mercy, HR.
So we want to be one day better than Safaricom chair. And I'm saying that as I'm drawing a map on the floor. Want to become better than Safaricom. So there's a story. Before I give to you, I want to introduce you to a lady who's doing wonders with the youth. Let me give her the mic. And she'll bring the youth here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eva Mutua. Linda and I have known each other since we were 5. So that's why I'm here. As she was, she called me on Saturday asking for a reference for corporate gifts, and we talked for a bit. Then I told her, oh, I have some really nice paintings from West Africa on my wall that depict women. I wish you had told me earlier. Then she's like, but what about the other paintings you have? I was like, oh, from the mentorship program. So I'll just give you a brief background about it. In 2018, but the story begins before that. Many years ago, I went to Ramoma Gallery for an exhibition. And I saw a lot of beautiful art, but I wasn't working at the time. And I just never thought I'd be able to afford it. And one particular artist, 𝗞𝗣𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗡𝗦, I was enamored by his work. I loved the big bums. I loved the depiction of women. And I remember telling a friend of mine who was exhibiting, I'd love to own a piece of his work. And she told me, oh, he's a very arrogant guy. You'll never get to meet him. Fast forward many years later, I'm working now. I happened to get into the art scene, going to visit a gallery near my house. And I just say, I wonder if I would meet 𝗞𝗣𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗡𝗦. And I stalked him for a bit on social media, and I kept on telling him, one day I'll own a piece of your work. And he's like, just come to the go down. But I remembered 250,000. My current life situation wasn't going to allow. But, yeah. Okay. So anyway, fast forward, we then had the mentorship program in honor of my late mom. So we mentored 13 boys in 2018 as a family, as opposed to having a huge funeral, gravestone. The money that was collected, we put into a mentorship program. I stalked all the men I know in my life who are good fathers, who are responsible husbands, because a lot of the young men needed, when I interviewed them, they needed that. So I've come with 5 of them today. If they could come, there's Kerosh, Gwanzu, Prince, and Solomon. Sorry, I've come with 4 of them today.
Hiya, boys, where are you?
So this is Kerosh, this is Prince, this is Hannington, and this is Solomon. They went through a program for 6 months, boys becoming men, artists becoming business people and professionals, and just leaving society better. Not all of them are from disadvantaged backgrounds, but many of them have struggled. to break into the art field. I think it's only Prince's father who was very accepting and nurturing of his talent. Everybody else was like, no, art doesn't make money. So this is the 4, and your gifts will be coming from one of them.
So, Chair, as that was happening, when we were having this function, someone was painting there at the back. And I don't have $122 for the barrel thing. I don't. So you'll have to buy a painting. So we are auctioning paint work for that one. We let him finish, he'll bring it here, and then we'll to the highest bidder, including those who are here. Niliwaongezea mshahara. Mutanunua, mutasaidia vijana wetu. Si ndio? How many here are mothers of boys? Yeah, we are many. And you know, boys, when you have a talent with a boy, you thank God before they start doing funny things. So today you are supporting these 4 boys of ours. So just stand there, kwa sababu tunapeana gift. Tuanze na chair, wacha nimlete. Alafu mutatuambia nani alipaint. All right, look at that. Isn't that nice? Yes, didn't we break a bias? Correct? What do you think? Correct, she loves it. Someone will tell us. Who nani alipainti? Yeah, I know, right? Huh? Who painted this? Your name?
Gwanzo Huntington.
That is he who painted that. So Chair, please stand and receive this gift. You can go up. We'll take a picture with our chair. Please take a photo. This is very important to us. Thank you. He can remove the mask, please. And you go and tell people KPC is a good company. Sindio? Aya. Director Elsie. Yeah, Elsie. All right. Next to the person who has just spoken to us from her heart, loves engineers. What do you guys see? Very nice. Correct? Right? Ile project munakata tufanye hapa tukicheza na matenda. Huh? Look. Look at that. Isn't it nice? Let's clap. Director Elsie, this is for you. Who painted this? Still you? Bana. Haya. Tende. Director Elsie, please receive that on our behalf. No, Bevy's all right. My very dear friend Simon Bevy, who has 2 daughters, always talks about them. If you go for these programs, I always tell people, grow yourself. Grow yourself first before you're grown by others. And I'm so happy that the directors have pointed that to you. So, what do you see before he sees? Do you think this is something his daughters would be happy to see at home? Yeah? A minute. Let me show the other side. What do you think? Do you know yesterday Rwanda recognized its first female pilot who is a Kenyan? Did you see what another pilot did for us by landing at Heathrow? Correct. This is for our pastor. There you go. So who painted this? Oh, come on, bana. Mtu mwingine sasa wewe umekuwa celeb sana. Him bado? Aya. Team wamekunominate. Right. We are in the last one. First we see, then we say how it looks. Do you like? Nice, right? Tulikuwa tunachomelea pipe ya Kisumu. Aya, just hold. We see the other side. Henry, no woman, no cry. Ndio hii. What do you think? Do you think our MD will like? All right, here we go. Manachoma pipe. Where is he? Who is giving us this? All right. Thank you so much. He's emotional.
I am not emotional. Do you remember what Director Elsie told you? What did she tell you? If you want to grow, take care of yourself. What I want you guys to do is, Director Elsie said they are not animals. You remember that? They're not bad. Our body is approachable. Do you want a sponsor? I'm in IT. Do you want a sponsor? Do you want a sponsor? These are your sponsors. If you come to interview or promotion, if they don't know you, you're dead. If I don't know you, how do I rank you? If you want me to be a sponsor, let me know you. And let you know me. Let you know my board. Are you together? Na mujue mchungaji awaombe.
All right, so for me as a GM HR, the last 1 year, because I think I came here in February of last year, this is the second time I'm hosting this event. And the biggest problem we have here in KPC is exactly what has been highlighted. We need to step out of the shadow. Stop caring what the other person is doing and focus on yourself. Grow yourself. Dream yourself. Sorry? Yes, it is. Oh, yes. Mnamjua jina? Jina ni? Aya. You hear? Umesema nani? How comes you don't talk about? Musipende. And let me tell you something, guys. Did you hear anything about tribe? Which tribe did that welding? Mumesikia? Mumesikia nini? Ni binadamu. Kwa hivyo tupendane. We are approachable. I know people fear me. I don't know why. A lot has been said. You come to my office, we talk. But I'm factual. I'm factual because, and I love what Chair has said. Me, I don't have female friends. I think I only have one. Her name is Lavin Motira. She's not here. But me, by nature, even the way I was raised, family of boys, we don't have time to gossip. Come to the office, you come with facts. We support each other. People like Beryl there, we talk, I even forget. You've heard me calling her Langatawan. We have nicknames for people who work with us. Hakuna mtu wa kudhulumu mwingine. Let's come out of the shadow of the former KPC, where people never used to love one another. Stick to facts. Sema ndoto ndio hii. This is the pathway to getting there. Si moshene. Correct? And we support one another. Not looking at each other as tribes, sujui kizungu mingi. We love one another. And then maybe one day I'll give you a gift like that. I'll paint you. Sawa? So as these people are chilling here, talking amongst themselves like, oh my God, they got us good gifts. We will play music so that he can finish the painting and then we auction. Na mulilipwa salary. And let me give you good news, by the way. MD, can I? Woo-woo! SRC approved your salaries to be backdated back to 1st of July. So payroll ya hii mwezi, mana pesa. Muko na pesa, mutanunua hiyo painting. And you need to clap for our chair. She's been pushing for these things. Please stand up and clap for these people. These are the people. Our. Clap for them. They have made it possible for us
Tuwabariki tafadhali. Tuwabariki tudance.
Mungu umetenda, ni kweli wewe muweza.
They can take it down.
Neno tulatosha, ukisema umetenda.
DJ, I'm giving you an opportunity of your life. Chair, please sit. Guests, please sit. If you want a photo with the chair, please come forward. Unajua si kila siku celeb wako hapa. Once I'm giving you a time to take a photo with the chair.
I know, ladies, we are many, and we'd actually want...
Okay, let's start with 5 people. Yes. Who wants to take a photo with the chair? One, come. Ule atafika hapa mbele. Na usiangushe heels. Kuja, round 1. Aya, we start with 5. There you go.
Okay, we can join the podium.
You can go to the podium. Director, pose there. Up we go. No waambie unataka kuwa director KPC siku moja. Right? Music can be playing.
Watumishi wako umewapa yote waombayo, ikiwa umependezwa.
Walo hakuna wakulipinga, hakika we ni Mungu.
As that is happening, DJ kidogo. Because mumechukua picha na celebrity tonight from 5:30, she's on Nation Media Group with other ladies who have broken the bias in this country. Rebecca Miano, who else? Who else is in that thing? Sorry? CS Kobia. So please, today, Mwakishe TV, tumewalipa salaries. DSTV iko, Go TV, hata Star. Mwakishe 5:30 muone what our chair is going. She's part of a panel, a very important panel. This is a place that will expose KPC and the projects that we are doing that Grace Njoroge is leading. So, Grace, usimame upigwe picha na Jea. Nini? Lang'ata 1. Kujani mpigwe picha na... See, I'm giving you a lifetime. Even the promotions wapita. Mwata mkipewa mchukui. Enyi watu ni warembo. Lang'ata 1. Eish.
Any other group for ladies?
Flo?
Any other group? Thank you.
Another group? Celebs are smamangi for long. 2020, the painting is almost over. Yes, please, Centonomy people, please feel free. Pandeni stairs. Wow, you don't fupika bana. Kila mwaka.
Volleyball.
Chair, this is our volleyball team. Muko hapa. Aya. Aya, tufanye mikono hivi, breaking bias. Hivi. Chukua hiyo picha.
All the volleyballers to come here.
Volleyballers. Kuna moja anakuanga mrefu kila mwaka. Never does she shorten.
All the volleyball players.
Volleyball players are next. Kumbe mnakuanga na njaa ya kujua celebrities. Amtuambi? Okay. Na tuweke mikono ya bias hivi, no bias. Lakini nyinyi watu ni warefu. Ai. Yeah. 4, 5, okay. Aya, tuiname, unajua chair si mrefu. Aya. 1, 2, go. And then I'll remain with 5 of you. This is for purposes of media photo. Thank you. Aya, toshakiani na celebrity moment. Niacho na watu 5 kwa stage. Volleyballers, 5 of you to remain on stage. Karefu, uko hapo? Aya, perfect. Let's take this one. With the bias, no bias, sign, Karefu. Hivyo. Perfect. Thank you. Asanteni. Chair, please have a seat with the Director Elsie. Any other person who wants a photo with the celebrity, this is your time. This is your time. Going once. Wameshuka. Ole. All right, so is the painting ready? 2 more minutes? 2 minutes? Sorry? 10 minutes. 10 minutes to fanya nini?
We dance.
We dance. Which song? Sorry? Oh my God! Listen to this. I have a story. How could I forget? So, I'm willing to give money. See, you unajua KPC muna understand tu language ya pesa. Who do you think is best dressed today? And if you think you're the one, wapi your photo booth? Wapi? Nani? Sasa hata sijamaliza statement. This is what is called rigging. I said, if you believe that you are smartly dressed, yeah? Step 1 inaanzanga nawe kupigwa picha hapa kwa booth. Go wapi photo booth? Kunayo ama nizi maua hapa? So, let's vote for people. Winnie? Anaitwa Winnie? Winnie ni volleyballer. Aya, kuja tuone nguo. Aya, if you think you can beat that, please. Please, kama unajua ni wewe. Eyawa, ace. Langata 1, hapana leo umewezwa. So, unaweza chapa hiyo? Unaweza chapa hiyo? Really? Aya. Ndio hiyo. Karefu. But then unamuona hapa, she's in operations. These are the guys who got jobs. Yeah, from sports into what we do. Haya, number 3. Who is number 3? Unajua kwa hii kitu kuna runners up. 1, 2, 3. Haya, number 3, jilete. Unaona umejiamini. Hao watu hawajijua, jilete. Jilete. Who? Haya. Number 1, 2, 3. Sasa, who do you think should win this? Oh, wait. They have to introduce themselves.
I'm Winnie Odhiambo. I'm a volleyball player. 2018. Center.
Hello everyone. My name is Gaudensia Makora, volleyball player and also in operation. I've been in pipeline since 2014.
She's not telling us something. Tokyo Olympics beach volleyball.
Yes, winner. I'm an Olympian in beach volleyball Kenya team.
Another celebrity. Haya, wakujiamini.
Happy International Women's Day, everyone. Maureen Jomutai, Corporate Communication at Achi.
Sasa hiyo ndio tunaita boldness. Hiyo ndio?
Haya, tunafanya voting. Teren. Apewe kazi. Achani niwaambie MD wetu ni politicians. Unajua leo tusimama kwa barabara. Pea. Alafu tunakuja tunapelekwa jela na yeye. Huyu. Yeah? You're here for attachment. Internship or attachment? Okay. All right. Haya. Number 1. Nikisema jina unapiga makofi, ukimake some noise ndo tunajua hiyo ndo number 1. Sawa? Winnie volleyballer. Hapana. Hii side iko biased bana, hapana. Narudia, kama Henry apigi makofi na ngira. Hiyo hapana. Rajat, unajua Henry was the best dressed last year kwa men's function. Atunadmire beauty. Wewe nyamaza wewe. Aya, tuangalie tena. Winnie wa volleyball. Guys, this is the person we are going to award. Again, we have this year special gifts. We are not doing the normal notebooks, sijui pen, sijui nini. I won't tell you what we are giving. So we are giving Winnie. We are in agreement? Aya, Winnie Kaketi. Number 2. The chick who can play in Tokyo. Who can play in Tokyo? Ama awatachi. Ni ngumu. Msidanganye na height. Hata mimi ni mrefu, acha niwaonyeshe. Hata mimi ni mrefu. Nitapanda. Nipande ingine, nyinyi ni maabusu. So, do I hear number 2, 4? Hata mumesahau jina yake. Woo! Unaonishinda last year. But this chick has been a celeb here. Remember, even she was one of the guys who saved us at PS10. Remember? So this is a hero. So makofi kwake. Ataletewa gift na HR. And for boldness na kujinominate. Hey! Tupige makofi! Aya, asanteni, tuete tutampatia gift, sawa? Aya. No, I don't have more entertainment. Wacha nitafute hiyo painting. DJ gonga music.
I want to make as we are waiting for the paints to be brought. We have the NHIF. Remember our list yesterday, we said our NHIF guys are going to be in the premise. They are on the first floor. As we leave here, kindly let us go there so that we can be given some education on how we can help our people, our parents, our children, and also verify our biometrics.
Bebe.
So the NHIF, I repeat, NHIF team is on first floor, the welfare section. When we finish this, kindly let us pass through there so that we can actually verify our biometrics, get info on the services that NHIF is giving,
Then we'll auction,
and then they will also give us some knowledge on how we can take care of our people, those who are upcountry, our parents, our brothers. They have come with very many goodies. So let us pass through there. First floor, welfare section. We can continue with the music as the paint is being brought in. We can dance to that song. All ladies we have taken. Can we stand up? Painting is here.
All right. Entertainment is hard. Sasa, we have 3 paintings. And they were painted while we were seated. One is coming. They are not complete, but we will finish. Whoever
buys, we will finish the painting here. Sawa? Sawa? Aya, here we go. We start with that one. Yes. Na muangalie, na mnunue, msaidie MD. There is a painting. Hakuna kisogo ya Henry hapo. So you can buy something that is Henry free. There. Can you see? Let me just stand there and just pick it up like this and show it round. Please support our boys. Huh? Sarah amesema 5,000. Angalia huko kuna mapointi side. Kuna mapointi. Sarah is the woman to beat. 5,000. Am I? 10,000. Another Japani MD tumelipwa mshahara. Nini? Ati? She needs to beat Masharia, eh? Masharia said 10,000. 11,000. Haya. Wewe bana uwezi nunua kila kitu. Haya. 25,000. Chapeni hiyo. 25. Going once. Going twice. Sold to the bald man. Aya, next. Lakini nyinyi watu hamwezi chapwa na mwanaume. Nimewalipa. Mwanaume kona pesa. This is the most broke guy in the company. Hana job security. Haya, here we go. Tuonyeshane side ya pointi. Hivyo na side ya serikali. Lang'ata wanu unaona? Lang'ata wanu umeona? Aya, hii side ingine. Aya, ready? 2,000. 3,000. 4,000. 5,000. 10,000. Going, what? 11,000 from Zilpa. Aye. Yeah, we need to talk about financial management. 15,000. 15. 15. Akinita support. Tuongeze 500 tuchape mtu. Come on. 15,500. This is good. Siuzi beyond Zilpa. Mwanamke lazima enda na hiki tu. Thank you Zilpa. 15,500. The mother. So hii Henry ananinunulia hii mambo ya kuniambia he's buying me shoes, we are done. It's okay. This one is work in progress. Whoever wins this will finish the job for you. It is so nice. Look at our building. Woo! Abu, show the other side, the boring side. Abu Aneni, look what these boys have done today. Starting at 10,000. Henry, control that guy yawa. Sasa huyu mtu wanafikiria tumebackdate salaries atapata milioni. 30,000. 31. 31. Yani nyinyi watu wanawake. Me, I'm not going to bid for this thing. Nikibid nitachapa Masharia. Zilpa amechapa boss. You must have money to support our boys, come on. Did I hear 50? Did I hear 50? Come on. Tuache emotional ninyo. Mtanifanya niruke. You know these boys could date your daughters. Mimi najaribu kulift maskini toke kwenyu. Mama Dylan, waambia watu wa support vijana, they might be our boys kwa manyumba. 30,000. 30,000. 30,000. 31. Kopcom yawa. Nini? Hata kama tutaweka hapo kwa entry ya nyumba yetu hapa. Kopcom. Pressure.
kwa museum. Na tuko na budget ya 1.5 pahali. 100,000 sold! Woo! Masharia ni maskini, Masharia ni maskini. Aya, go finish, that's 100,000, the last one. Still work in progress, I may confess. Look at that. Today's function, Women's Day, HR. Henry abununua kitu kabla sija kufuta kazi. Sitaki ng'ombe. Na sitaki kusikia retirement. Ama tuongeze uende kwa people living disability to extend. Sivyo ndio watu wanatufanya. Ukifika 60, we're and register. 20,000 to celebrate this day. We keep it somewhere in our museum. 20. Where? Come, you know we had said with Kinangira and Henry, if each one of you was to give us 10% of what you earn, you only 100 million na tunaretire, si tunaenda tunawaambia tumamalizia kazi na SRC. Na bado performance incentive inakuja. Nunueni hii kitu. 30,000 from our MD. Lakini hawa, no! Henry, 50. Oh, 50 at 50. Makofi kwa Henry. Hold on. 80,000 to our MD. Ngira, did I hear 81? Ngira, Mako na Prado. 81,000 to HR. Woo! 90,000. Woo! Thank you so much, and that concludes our auction. Did you have fun today? Did you have fun? High five your next colleague if you had fun. Ya ukweli sile uongo. And let me tell you guys, thank you so much for supporting our boys. Today is a good day. Nitawapatia kazi, mtaweza kufanya mpaka 3. 3 o'clock you can leave. Sawa sawa? Sawa, let's gonga music and then we go. And that's the end. Hold on before music itangwe. Kuna mtu anakuja hapa kutupatia vote of thanks.
Yes.
Na tunafunga na Mungu.
I want to call upon Victoria to come and give vote of thanks.
Thanks, guys. Go finish.
Okay, so I hope we have had fun. Are you happy? I think the best thing we've done is to sell these paintings. We have given hope to these young men. And I think a round of applause to everyone for what we have done. We have impacted a young generation. So first of all, I want to give thanks to our service providers. Thank you very much, Boma. Thank you for coming through for us. Last minute, and they came through and they've done a wonderful job. Did you enjoy the breakfast, ladies? Meshiba. Okay. A big thank you to the committee members, the ladies who put this together, led by our own Nyambura. Thank you very much, ladies. Thank you for doing this last minute, but you've done it with commitment and with honor. Asanteni sana. KPC ladies, we honor you for honoring this invite. The message was sent out, but you're here and you're dressed in African. Please clap for yourselves. When we call you, please come again and again. Every time we call you, come again and again. Now, let's give a round of applause to our speakers. Thank you, Simon Bevy. Thank you, Centonomy. You have inspired us today, especially Pastor. We have learned about men, and we have learned that sometimes they need to go to the cave. So, asante, Pastor. I want to thank and appreciate our KPC management. Thank you, EXCO team. Thank you, Bona MD Daktari. Thank you for always listening to the ladies and having the time and even sponsoring these events. we do not take that for granted. We haven't forgotten the chocolates, and now we are here. Yes, so asante sana, EXCO team. I want to give distinct gratitude to our board. Thank you, Madam Chair, and even not just for honoring this event, but also for setting the pace to break biases. By being the chair of the board, she's actually setting the pace for the rest of us. And we can look up and say, if someone else has done it, I can do it. True or false? True. Finally, we thank God Almighty. We give thanks for the opportunity to work for this good company, a great company indeed. We thank him, we give him all glory for life. We thank him for making this possible. All praise, glory, and honor to our God Almighty. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. Makofi kwa Vicky. We started with a prayer. I want us to end this session with a prayer. We had a Christian.
Before we close, guys, I want to tell you something that is personal to me. I think we are not attending the Centonomy training, which is very sad. Money has been spent, taxpayer money. You see me seated here. I have classes every day, Wednesday to Friday, from 3 to 7 in the evening. I am here at work by 4:45, 5 o'clock. So that I clear my day. By 3 o'clock, I'm in a class. Let me tell you, if you can't grow yourself, no one will grow you. Nobody, not even HR. So please, let me tell you, from the places I have worked as even a young girl, we used to hear about Centonomy. Me, I heard about Centonomy when I was with EABL. And our CEO back then, Jane Karuku, made sure he attended these classes. Most of us here are refusing to retire. That is a fact. The truth be told, watu hawajajipanga. And what is the average age of work here in KPC? Is 46. Mimi nikiwa mtoto, when I reported to my first employer, my dad told me, 100% year 1 from employer. Year 2, 75%. Year 3, 50%. Year 4, but year 3, you can even pay your employer. Year 4, you should be at 75, the employer 25. By the 5th year, you're telling the employer you can bugger off. Are we together? Me, that's what I'm trying to teach you. Me, I'm not telling you to sit and say, I can use force. And tell you, if you don't attend these classes, we'll follow with consequence management. And we can go there, and we will go there. Because this is money that can't go back to treasury. Bana mkiambiwa kitu tusikize. Tuache ugumu. Yeah? Tuache nini? Ugumu. We need to change. We need to change. And some of us, even taking over and misusing our medical cards. Bana. This is the only institution in this country. And I'm saying this when God's spirit is here. This is the only company in this country that has an open-ended inpatient cover. The only one. Not Safaricom, not Google, not EABL. We are the only ones. By the time you are filing a medical concern, please tell God the truth. Kina Henry will tell you, we saw a man here sue us. He went even registered with the Council of People Living Disability. He died at 60. Who told you you will live until you're 65? Who? Your appointment, contract ya kazi, appointment ya maisha, iko na Mungu. Na kuisha kwako iko na nani? So let's start treasuring the small things we have as an institution that others don't have. KRA just wrote me a letter. Where is their mortgage? Now they are saying mortgage ya employee KRA ulipe nusu, wanakupatia mortgage nusu, unalipa na hiyo 3%, the rest is funded by a bank. Does that make sense? 16% interest rate. Me, I'm giving you with 3%. And now some of you are still being kept here by men. Na nyumba unaweza jinunulia. Gari hapa nimewapatia na 3%. No other company in this country. It's only KRA and KPA. And still even KPA, Kinasara will tell you, their medical scheme, Gira my line, their medical scheme, bana uwezi fanyua surgery more than once in a given year. Sisi hapa, then you come and you say, I'm being harsh. The reality is things are getting worse. And we have to hold on to the benefits that we have as an institution. This medical scheme was at 600 million. This year budget was slashed to 300 million by Treasury. And what are they telling us? If they don't see better management by the close of this year, next year tunaingia insurance. Do you want that benefit to go?
No.
Do you want your benefits for housing and your car loans to go? No. But now let's start treasuring these things and let's start growing ourselves to become better. Sawa? Classes as autonomy. I'm not begging. I'm telling you, we're in a financial crisis as women in this company. Sign up. Tumalize hii, next year tuingie another program about health and welfare. Next year, kama wakati, I would like us to go for hiking on a day like today, instead of sitting here in the office. Yeah. But how am I going to do that if you're not going with the programs that HR is giving you? Mukiambiwa turn up, NHIF is registering. Come and update your people. Ile siku nakufa, the man who left you 20 years ago for another woman, pesa zinaenda kwake. Have we seen it, HR ni ukweli? And I've told you to come and update your records. Lakini tuwe ni ID tunaniletea, madam, I was actually not born in 1948. Nilizaliwa 82 kwa sababu hutaki kuenda retire. But ingine ya kuniambia I adopted a child, mweke medical, hamtakuja kuniambia. The day you die, we are left here with crushed families. You can't even attend a funeral. So me, I'm asking, if you have not updated your records with HR, hata kama ni bwana ya pili, kwani even us we can be married twice, let her tuweke medical. Sindio? That child you adopted, who by court order and by birth certificate mtoto wako, letter. Tuko pamoja? NHIF is here. There is no way Flo is going to keep singing that song. Ati you're calling Flo, my baby is sick. Flo is like, did you register this child on NHIF? No, Flo, unajua. Today is your day. Not many companies do this for their people. We are trying to support you. So after this, kama hata una mtoto wako kwa magoti, peleka tukaregister. Sawa, Sarah? Tuende tukaregister mtoto by faith. Amen? Amen. So now we can close. But I'm serious. If I can find time to attend my classes, 3 to 7, Wednesday to Friday. Na niko na union negotiations on Thursday and this Friday. You can surely find time to check into autonomy. Sawa? Anzeni kujijua. Inaanzanga hapa na person of freedom. Kama hamuna hiyo freedom ya do, kuisha wewe. Kuisha wewe kama mwanamke, kuisha wewe. Sawa? Yes. Do you promise? Say I promise to attend autonomy classes effective immediately and I accept consequence management if I don't attend autonomy classes. This year sikuwapea gift, last year niliwapea scarf, hata kuna mtu alikuja kiva. I was going to give you books by autonomy, 128 pages. Lakini amusomangi, attend class and then I buy you a gift. Yeah. Sawa? Aya, over to Mercy.
Thank you. Let's appreciate Nyambura. As I was saying before, we got this very noble advice from our manager, HR. Tulikuwa tuende mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu, tuombe tuseme asanti kwa sababu ametuweka vizuri. Tulianza na maombi ya Kikristo, tutamaliza na maombi ya Kiislamu. I want to welcome my sister back, Srayon, to come and lead us in a prayer. She will direct us kama tutasimama, kama tutakaa. Yeye ndiye amesema tukae tu, yeye kazi yake ni kuomba.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Let's pray. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, arrahmanir rahim, maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim, siratal ladina an'amta alaihim, ghayril maghdubi alaihim waladdallin. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, most merciful, praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds, most gracious, most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. It is you we worship, and upon you we seek help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those who you have blessed. Dear Allah, we pray that you bless all women in KPC as we get back to our offices. Ya Allah, guide our paths. Dear Allah, bless all women in KPC. Guide all women in the world so that they can strive, bring peace to their communities, their homes and their hearts. Dear Allah, guide our paths. Ameen, ameen, ameen.
Thank you. Let's appreciate Barak. Thank you, Barak. I think we'll have some music and we can live at our own pleasure. Thank you. DJ, give us a song.